What
I
am
got
I?
enough material for 2 sessions.
Okay, but what am I gonna watch tomorrow then?
3 sessions.
We could do a session tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, we got to keep making people mad about how fast we're pumping these out.
I've
got a duty. I've got a duty at this point.
I'm here to help you fulfill that duty.
You consider it your civic duty to piss them off?
Yes.
Hello again, everyone, by the way. I am Razim, currently using the icon of Nevis because I'm too lazy to bring up my VTuber avatar. We are going to be doing, well, just chatting mostly, as well as probably a little bit of conversation, and it looks like we've got Seda here for... Okay, maybe we will actually be doing a Pokeroll session.
I'm here purely to spray bottle the both of you for the mere suggestion and idea of considering another session tonight. Bad. Both of you. Bad.
That is 3 of us that are considering it.
There are.
Spray.
Say that.
Oh.
Okay, no
He
Pokeball.
left already.
I was gonna say that they're trying to. They're turning my assassin werewolf into a good boy, or they're trying.
Also, you forgot to thank Seda for getting you moist.
Oh God.
You are right. Seda, since I know you're listening out there, thank you for getting me all moist.
And demonetized.
Demonetized. Oh, wait, hold on. Like, can anyone do like the Halo announcer voice and say demonetized?
Demonetized.
Demonetized.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
I don't know what he sounds like, so that's the best you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's decent. Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, Kurama, what would you play for Pokeroll then? Would we have another Rockruff in our party?
I would, but like, there's too many woofs. I gotta do something else.
There can be too many woofs?
Yes.
Really?
I think that's news to him.
You could play Growlithe or Furfro.
There's already a Growlithe.
Oh.
Well, there's 2 Rockruffs. Why not 2 Growliths?
Yeah.
I mean, true.
I'd be okay with a Growlithe. A Growlithe is like a cooler wolf.
There's a new Mafia-Don Pokemon. You should be that.
I just want to point out that Growlithe is literally the puppy Pokemon. Food for thought, Sark. Food for thought.
Hey, that's fine.
Don't worry, Sark. You could always play as a motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I already know about some of the new Pokemon. Otherwise, I would be so sad. I can't get that game for forever.
Aww. Yeah, I just like the idea that you can play as the motorcycle Pokemon. They'll just like kickstand you outside the base whenever, they need to go in and do important stuff.
See, Zim, it's either that or Vulpix, and I'm definitely not going for Vulpix.
Well, why not?
Okay, look, if you went for Vulpix, I'd constantly make jokes about you being the DM's son.
Oh, probably that.
I'd make so many jokes about that.
Why don't you play Houndstone?
Houndour?
No, Houndstone, but Houndour is another choice.
I always pronounce it Houndour.
I'm sure it's a tomato sort of thing.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm just like, just made me think of it.
And
by the way,
just play as all Pokemon. Play as Ditto.
And what's up?
I did send you a couple questions.
I just woke up.
Okay, I'm just letting you know because you're in here.
Also, then I can't play anything that has to do with 9.
You don't exactly need to respond right now. It's just me
No,
letting-
I've got absolutely no problem responding.
Well, you did. If you did just wake up, I don't want to be. Hey, you just woke up. Think about things.
Isn't that why he's here, though? To think about things.
Really? People
Yeah.
think about things in this chat?
E equals MC squared.
I don't know why, but that got a chuckle out of me.
See, I always consider a joke successful if you can at least make one person chuckle.
Yeah, that's right.
But I have decided that I must play my newly acquired character Solomon in every TTRPG ever. So I must make it a goal to join every game that I possibly can, just so I can play him in different systems.
Well, how can you do that when your character is literally just Solo Man?
Solo Man. There's no A in there. It's not Solo Man. It's Solomon.
Well, you think I'm referring to him just being alone, but I'm talking more about it being a solo cup.
Red Solo Cup.
I
Yeah.
fill you up. Let's have a party. Proceed to party. I love you, Red Solo Cup.
And Taldarius, I can answer your questions if you'd like, but one of them will require us to hop over into another voice chat just real quick so I can answer it.
All right. If you want to go ahead and pull me away, then.
Sure.
Oh, you don't love me anymore? And just when I was setting up a nice little thing for you for all of you, like
You can bring back up the hot Google Doc for us to slave over, and when we come back.
No, I was bringing this up, or doing this for you all, so people can see your icons better.
Ooh. By the way, hold on. It's again, I feel so out of place. I am not spherical. Second of all,
No, you're pretty eatable, just like this. Yeet.
Shit.
All right, I'll be back.
I was laughing so hard my laugh didn't even go through.
Some of it did. So,
my
you
cheeks
play
hurt.
a Growlithe, huh, Sark? Sark. Damn it, Kurama!
Sorry, I was talking to a roommate.
Fuck your roommate.
Don't make us turn you into a Fido.
I don't think he'd like that.
Oh, also, I found the Pokemon that I was referring to before. It's the Mastiff. Who turns into a mafia boss.
The what?
What?
It's one of the new Pokemon. Mastiff.
Okay. So yeah, Sark, you'd play Growlithe. Would you be a standard fire type, or would you want to change it up?
I like fire. Fire causes explosions.
Fair enough.
Fire go boom.
You should be a fairy one, and that way you could be made of candy.
No.
So, Toshime, what would you play?
I just stepped back, still talking about Pokeroll.
Yeah, we're talking about Pokeroll and what you would play if you joined.
Probably Bulbasaur.
Really?
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
Why a Bulbasaur?
Because that's the system that I'm most used to. I've played Pokemon Red.
Ah, fair enough. I was thinking you'd say you'd pick a Poochyena, because they're probably the closest to a hyena that there is.
Or would you rather me do Snorlax?
You would not be able to play Snorlax. But you could start as a Munchlax.
Oh, I should have been that. That's like my spirit Pokemon.
Yes, basic Pokemon only, Pan. There's a bit more to it than just that, but you know, that's the general gist.
Wait, Munchlax is a baby Pokemon, though.
Yeah, but Munchlax, I believe, is an option, whereas I know Snorlax is not.
Yeah.
Pants would be a Dratini Noodle. Interesting, Panthanea. Interesting.
I'd be a Furfro.
Why?
Because they look awesome, and that's the only thing they look cool with. And then I'd give it a really cool punky haircut.
Okay, then. Raygon stole my primary helper tonight.
I'm sure they're just talking about secret plans with each other that involve you.
Probably. That's okay.
Yes, yeah. And then we poison his pizza.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, God. Speaking of poisoned pizza, that made me think of for some reason, a poison type Munchlax.
Hey, Pants, since
Oh.
you're still here, you should totally get on voice, by the way. What were you saying, Jolene?
I was saying, for some reason, talking about poisoning the pizza made me think of a poison type Munchlax.
Interesting idea.
Yeah, the concept is that it eats nothing but spoiled foods, and is quite the glutton as normal. But
So it's the poison burp Pokemon.
poison burp.
Poison burp.
But and then when it becomes a Snorlax eventually, it's not just poison type, but it's a poison fighting type.
Yeah.
And there
Hello.
is Panthanea fully furred.
Yeah.
She has finally been fully corrupted.
I just got off my ass and did a PNG tuber.
Fully corrupted!
Gotta remember, I was corrupted in high school. I just put the persona on a shelf.
I was the same way. Then I joined one of Zim's games.
Yeah,
and
he
of
didn't.
course this song comes on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sark didn't have a persona until I gave him one.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
Why?
Letting someone, pull you down this rabbit hole can be a bit of a, hey, how deep does the rabbit hole go?
Well, that depends. How big's the rabbit?
6 feet.
Panth, I'm an Eve player. Okay, there's literally I can't go much deeper.
That's true. But If anybody gets the joke, the rabbit is 6 feet.
I don't get it.
That's all right. There's an old movie called Harvey, where a character keeps claiming that there's a 6-foot tall, invisible rabbit.
Oh yeah. The Sims
Yeah.
The Sims 2 made a reference to it.
Oh yeah, it's a classic. I won't spoil the ending, but if you ever had a chance to watch it, you should watch it. It is thoroughly amusing.
Well, perhaps I shall someday. Duke, Duke, Duke. Oops.
But yeah, Shiny Dratini.
He's a good choice. Shiny Dratini is quite the adorable Pokemon.
It would either be Shiny Dratini or a regular Eevee. Because I'm all about the cute.
Oh yeah, I should probably finish changing the title and stuff. I kind of got distracted.
Zim goes, ooh, shiny.
Well, we wound up with a whole bunch of people in voice while I was working on this stuff. Or going to.
Yeah, we're just waiting for Brygon and Taldaris to come back because they're the experts.
I mean, we also have an expert here.
Oh, thank
Shut
you. I know you mean Bethania.
It's Panthonea, and yes, that's who I'm talking about.
I wouldn't necessarily call myself an expert, but hey. An expert has been drip under pressure. I'm just a drip under pressure.
Hold the line. This hamlet shall not fall.
Jericho Fox raided my stream with 15 viewers.
Sharico! Hello there! Thank you very much for that raid! And the Woogie Puff, thank you very much for that follow! Welcome on in, everyone. We're having a much more relaxed stream this evening than normal. We are actually going to be working on some Pokemon tabletop stuff. We're working on our own Pokemon tabletop RPG system. Because the ones out there are for trainers, and we want to make our own dedicated to Mystery Dungeon. But hello, how was your stream? And would you like a regular shout out, or would you like a random clip from your channel, Brata?
Man, sometimes
Hello
I
there,
forget.
Woogie Puff. What was that, Jolene?
I was saying sometimes I forget that I hyper-focus on things until I'm hyper-focusing on things, and then it bothers me. Because now I'm hyper-focused on my poison Munchlax and what it might evolve into, besides just being a poison Snorlax. I keep thinking, poison steel or poison fighting? Because does the poison toughen it up till it can beat you up, or does the poison just make it eat weird things until the point that it starts eating things it shouldn't and become the iron stomach?
Should be like poison steel. That way, it's like it's a nuclear reactor Pokemon.
How does what? No. Sure, go. Yes, I am having a good evening. We've had 2 tabletop games today, with some of this tabletop RPG system that we're working on in between / after now, because we just finished our Exalted game and now we're sitting here just chatting away, having a good old time, calling Sark a good boy, and yeah. Speaking of, Sark. Sark.
I'm just getting pushed closer and closer into the. Huh. I wonder how bad I can really be.
Ah. Well,
Like
I
kill a
was
few
just
more
going
people?
to say you are a good friend.
Just not expecting that.
Pants, where'd you go and why?
Wasn't Pan going to bed earlier?
I don't know. Maybe.
See, roll up a bit, roll up a bit. Yeah, they were going to have a snooze earlier, and then they ended up
They
not.
didn't, and
So-
yeah,
So they might be going to snooze now.
They might be. You're right. It might also be that Neon has chased them away. How could you,
What?
Neon?
No.
Wow, Neon.
I only told them several really great puns.
Oh, that is so evil of you.
No, they were good puns.
That is so very evil of you.
I was like, who's punny? Me.
Very, very evil.
I must now know your best pun.
Sure, let's hear your best pun.
Well, no, this is just one I came up with on the spot. How much money does a pirate pay for corn? A buccaneer.
Slowly losing more people.
Oh, I kicked him out to the timeout well. Oh, Pants' internet died.
Oh.
Oh god, it's so dark in there.
I'm laughing so hard it's cutting out. God. I'm gonna die laughing at this rate.
Well, hello there, Not Hated. How are you? I was not expecting to see you over here. Doing fine. Well, that is great to hear. Truly great. Really, really great.
I'm out of Guacamole Gamer Fart 9000.
Wait, what?
What?
Guacamole Gamer Fart 9000, the official energy drink of shitposting.
I am concerned.
It's one of those additives that you put and stir in.
I am slightly less concerned. But no,
I guess we
but
can
not
thank
much.
Russian Badger for that drink.
Yeah. I mean, it's his energy drink.
Oh, why I'm checking my email to something in the morning.
I check my email at random times. They never know when I'm gonna check them. Sometimes I don't check my email for days. Other times I check it multiple times a day. Who knows? Not I. It's going to be chaos. Chaos incarnate. Yes!
Chaos.
Pathania wants back in. Panthania. Yeah, I said it right. I'm just surprised.
No,
I
you
did.
said path, not pan.
Oh.
Meow.
Meow.
Welcome back.
The net did a split.
A split, huh?
Oh, yeah. Full on high velocity split.
That makes me laugh every time you say that word.
It should make anyone who's read the Garfield comic laugh.
I miss Garfield. I don't get to see much Garfield-related media anymore.
It is kind of one of those old people things.
Gee, thanks, Sim.
I grew up with Garfield. No.
Yes, and it's still Garfield is still becoming. When we were kids, or at least when I was a kid, Garfield was already headed towards that old people thing category.
The days of Calvin and Hobbes.
What's Garfield?
Exactly.
Garfield is a cat who hates Mondays and loves lasagna and who basically tortures this man for a living.
Oh,
Well,
and don't
that's
forget
just
the
all
dog.
cats in period.
I would disagree with that one. He has a baby on his lap.
What'd you say?
Her would disagree with all cats.
Did you hear about that, Pants? Apparently, Kerr has replaced me with RZ.
I mean, it's not apparently, it's has.
Ooh.
True.
I'm sorry, it's
true.
too easy.
He has.
We have to get. There now has to be an artist renditioning of Nevis crying in the corner with a big head and big eyes, just looking at.
Don't
at
say that. Panther's an artist.
Think about it.
Not that kind of artist.
There's just a little
My
chibi.
illustration sucks.
Think about it, right? A chibi Nevis looking out, screaming with really big eyes and just rivers of tears, and a speech bubble that says, "I've been replaced."
I can picture this way too well.
I know,
Good
right?
thing I'm not an artist.
I don't know why, but I picture it happening on a boat.
Like he's been set adrift.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the rest of the party is going all googly eyed over RZ. And then there's Sark being like, "It's kind of cute," trying to maintain that tough guy look.
Oh, of course.
I think I'm going to be hopping off for the night. Have fun, everyone.
Sleep well, Tosha May, and thank you so much for your support as well as coming by.
Mm-hmm.
And I will drag you out and get you more involved.
Eventually.
Sunday.
That sounded like a very good stretch.
Little bit of one. So I came up with an idea that sounds fun to me, Pants.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We got the body, mind, and soul stats
Okay.
for attributes. And then I also added vigor and willpower. Vigor is kind of going to be like hit dice for from 5e. You know, you can use them during a short rest to heal. However, and willpower allows you to, of course, reroll. However, you can spend a dot of each of them in order to heal during combat. I figured with it would cost an action, of course, but with Pokemon not really having that much in the way of healing capabilities, I thought that this was a good option.
It's not bad. And the fact that Pokemon's healing abilities tend to be self-target, it definitely gives you an alternative for those that don't have access to those abilities.
It does, I will say it does eliminate or lessen the usefulness of orange berries. However, well, actually, no, not necessarily lessen their ability, their usefulness, because I was thinking of making them heal a straight 10 hit points. Whereas for these, the vigor and willpower would be 1d10. So...
Well, and I like that idea. I would approach both of those, both the heal and the rerolls, like inspiration in D&D, where if you remember, Adventurers League has a cap of 2 inspiration, and so I would make sure that there's a cap on it, and that there are certain actions that allow you to regen it. That way the players have to be judicious in their usage of it.
So on that, I was thinking they would replenish, like, they're going to be similar to the attributes where they will give, there is a max of 10 for each. However, which I know that's a lot of rerolls, but
yeah,
I will also say I did put in that you can only use willpower once per roll.
No,
so if you get a bad roll,
even with that, I would cap them all at 5, not 10, because you're at that point, on average, and I'm gonna put this as a non-Zim game. On average, campaign sessions last 2 hours. Anywhere between an hour to 2 hours. Okay, for most tabletop games. 10 reroll gives you a reroll every single action during a game. Potentially, especially if you're doing a more social heavy and a less combat heavy situation. So I would not even remotely put it at the same dot levels as everything else. Not even close.
Okay, so 5 dots then?
5 dots max. I mean, personally, I'd do 3 of each, because it forces the players to actually think about how they use them.
I can actually attest that 5 is about the max that's reasonable, because I played in a system where you got like 5 rerolls every single session. It was specifically the Warhammer Fantasy 4th edition Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
God, yeah, that one.
I will say
you would get rerolls every single session, so you could just sort of toss them out if you had them.
These will replenish, similar to how hit dice do, where you only get up to half of them per long rest.
If you're going to do so, here's how I would balance this. I would definitely do like half every long rest and cap at 4, or 1 per long rest with a cap of 10.
They replenish 1 per long rest?
Yes. You can give it a cap of 10, but it's only 1 dot of each per long rest. Because in some campaigns, or in some games, you may spend 3 or 4 days in town, and not a lot of time happens between basically sleeping. And so you could have your gamers, and this is where playing with my power gamer nephews comes in handy. You will have players who are like, oh, I get 1 per long rest. How many days are we in town? And use that to regen all of it. In fact, convince the party to stay in town until everybody has full dots. And while by the itself that's not necessarily bad, it does pose complications for story progression for the DM.
Okay.
It is very true.
I mean, in the middle of investigating something, do you want to hear one of the players trying to convince everybody that they should take 10 days in town to regen all of their stuff when you're supposed to do something the next morning? It slows down play a lot. So giving it a cap, slowing down regen, make the players really, I mean, I think the concept's good. Having that reroll mechanic is useful. Having the heal mechanic is useful. Having to use both in order to heal in combat, absolutely perfect. Now it's down to balancing that usability from both a player standpoint, and your players are going to want 10 dots of each, and they're going to want them to all regen every long rest. Because they want access to all of that stuff. That is just players.
So as far as that goes, I will say getting to those 10 dots is going to cost a lot of experience. Because
so they have to unlock the dots?
Yeah. They don't actually start with any dots in them. Sorry, they do start with 1 dot in each.
I might start them with 2 in each, but that's me.
They do get some bonus dots that they can distribute where they please.
They have distributable.
Okay. So they can. So basically,
during character creation, they get to do extra, and some of them also have, like different ones will have different
other bonuses, but like all attributes start with 1 dot, which includes the. I'm considering the vigor and willpower basically secondary attributes, but still attributes. They just aren't typically something that you roll themselves.
Yeah, they operate more like Paradox.
Yeah.
Mage. They're going to operate a little more like Paradox. Actually, you could probably just rob the Paradox mechanic to where, the more times they use that, they start to take debuffs, basically. They start to lose dice.
That is not a bad idea. At all.
Because at that point, you're talking about pushing your body and mind beyond what it's designed to do in order to accomplish a goal. And that, speaking as someone who lives with chronic illness and is permanently aware of that, that does take a toll on your body and your ability to function. I've been completely toast this week because of just getting super overwhelmed at my market over the weekend. So I think using the Paradox system might actually be a good direction to take this.
Another way that you could take it is also to make it more difficult to regenerate those in particular. I know that I've played in systems where the DMs are able to reward you for good actions and roleplay and stuff.
Taldarius, are you talking into your mic?
Yeah.
It sounded like you were facing away from your mic. You were a little quiet, muffled.
Oh, it was probably I probably just leaned my head down a bit too far. Sorry.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I've played in systems where the DM is able to reward people for doing good role play actions by regenerating their tokens. So
like
you can
that
also
idea.
consider doing that. Because, like, for example, like I played in one setting where I got like my rerolls back and all that because I had my character donate like an important artifact to him to a local church, and helped because it got wiped out by a natural disaster. So he helped to rebuild it and then donated one of his like holy artifacts to the church. So I got my points back for doing something like that.
Yeah, a lot of RPGs have been implementing it. I mean, 5th Ed did it with Inspiration, the Ghostbusters role-playing game. You got extra points that you could use for rerolls for doing comedic things. Having that mechanic available to DMs is actually extremely helpful.
Yeah, I can definitely include that. Like a temporary point for vigor or willpower.
Yeah.
But I'm still leaning towards they regenerate half of their max per day, per long rest. Because, yes, it is. In the late game, yeah, they're going to have a lot of rerolls. However, I guess we could reduce them to 5. I would be okay with reducing them to 5.
Well, and if you want to do the half every time, that still works if you're using like the paradox penalty system instead of just dots, and you maybe make it a fixed 10, and it regens Earth.
Well,
10 or 6 or something, and it regens, but the more they use, the more penalties they face.
the problem is that it's they count towards your HP and it's a count up. If they start with a max, then that would affect their HP.
True.
Yeah. So that's why I want to keep it that way, is because the best way that I could think of for HP, I mean, there are definitely other ways, but without classes or actual leveling systems, aside from, like, Exalted
True.
has charms that you can get to increase your HP, but otherwise, your HP is the same from character creation to the end. And the same goes for World of Darkness. I didn't want to do that. Instead, the HP is the total of all of your attributes. So you're going to start with 8 HP because you've got 1 dot in each of those, plus the 3 extras you can spend. And then you'll have a maximum HP of 50 outside of, like items or perhaps DM reward or something like that.
And still using a penalty system would still work because if you're scaling those up, it means that at lower levels, they run out of those faster, but they also don't take as harsh of penalties. And that reflects the whole, you're still learning the limits of your body, so to speak. So you can only push yourself so far.
Yeah, what if every single point of vigor and will they used also adds 1 to like an exhaustion level cap or something like that, where like as they work up, like they get worse and worse.
I'm thinking maybe every 2 dots that you because there'll still be no matter what we do, there'll still be those that are like, okay, let's go ahead and just rest in town for 10 days.
Yeah, there's not much we can do about those.
Yeah.
Well, you can disincentivize that heavily.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
because
DM
the
can
world keeps moving without them.
Yeah. That would be up to the storyteller. But
yeah.
What we could do is like They regenerate half of the maximum of dots that they have per day. And then they start regenerating the exhaustion.
You want to do, like, round down minimum of 1?
Yeah, I'll do that.
That would track. And I definitely like the idea of every 2 dots. They lose a die.
Yeah.
And it would be willpower solo would cost them mind dice, vigor would cost them body dice. If
this
it's
also
both
has
of them.
This also has an added effect of, because one of the things you can do is if you do vigor and willpower at once, you heal during combat.
Right.
This means that if you heal during combat, you take a -1 to your dice rolls for the rest of the combat.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that by itself would definitely push them to be much more careful with how they use them. Much more frugal, yeah.
And at that point,
Because,
I think you can get away with capping it at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that's exactly what it's meant to be as well, is they are pushing their body beyond its limits. Especially for that mid-combat heal.
Yeah, I think with the penalty, we've very effectively balanced that. I mean, no role-playing system survives first encounter with the table, but
no.
I think we've got it about as best we can until we put dice to table.
One of the things is we already know that we have, like, best options in here.
Right.
But it's also, like, we've accepted that and we kind of have to, like, move on, where it's like, we're not going to touch the type resistances, weaknesses, all that sort of stuff. So stuff like Ghost Normal, Ghost Steel, like, really way too strong compared to, like, let's say, like a Rock Ground. But, like, we're not gonna change that. So we just kind of have to accept it.
Yeah, I mean, the type chart, the best you can do is balance it, much like Pokemon ended up doing with their tabletop game, or with the trading card game. Is at first it was double damage, and now it's, I think, plus or minus 20 on most cards.
Yeah, right now we actually have the type weaknesses and bonuses being 1 in every. So, like, let's say you have a weakness to something, 1 in every 4 dice at the end of your dice pool gets removed. If you're resisting something and you're taking damage. And it does the opposite for stab and super effective. Double effective is 1 per 2 dice. Double resistance is 1 per 2 dice. We still have immunities.
Well, yeah.
And then for accuracy, every 5% accuracy that your move drops below 100%, you remove 1 dice from your accuracy roll.
Yeah, okay. I can see that.
That way you still have the trade-off for if you do like a 120 power move, you still get the scaling effects from the stab and super effective or resistance, all that. And you also have to make the trade-off of your accuracy. But also, by that point in the game, you're going to have a ton of accuracy to throw around, so now it's up to you.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I think you guys are really on the right track here.
Yeah. I mean, it also one big thing though is that we did a lot of work on this, like, literally last night.
Yeah, we made a lot of progress last night. We also came up with racial type passives, quote unquote racial, because it seems like a fun idea. I'm thinking we're going to have these be an optional rule, obviously, because they are definitely not supported by the games, but they are mostly supported by the anime and such. For example, if you are a ghost type, you will have the ability to phase. However, we did put in there, it's subject to the storyteller's approval. they may want to prevent you from just phasing through walls for any reason.
I would almost give them a bonus to intimidation.
We wound up giving them a bonus to deception.
Yeah, okay.
Part of it's because they're
See
known as
that.
tricksters.
Yeah.
We actually gave Bugs a bonus to intimidation.
Like we had a bit of fun with it.
Poor Misty.
Oh, I see you limited the dark vision range that dark types get.
Yes.
All right, y'all have a good night. I'm about to
Good
pass
night.
out.
Get some
Good
rest.
night.
Good night.
But yeah, we are giving each type a bonus to one of the abilities, the skills.
Yeah.
And then we're also
quick on-
going...
Real
Go
quick
ahead.
on fairy types. Please note that you could heal yourself or others.
Good point.
Because right now you just wrote can heal up to. So that sounds like it's only self heal.
Yeah. I'll include that note. For fairies, we basically gave them lay on hands from paladins, where they get 2 times their soul that they can restore for HP per day. We couldn't come up with anything else, but a
You have a
lot of
name for it?
fairies tend to have healing abilities anyways. What was that, Rygon?
Do you have a name for this ability?
Not yet.
We haven't gotten to names.
Oh,
Touch.
okay. Well, I want empathy or empathic to be a part of that, since that's a huge part of the fairies' dealio.
Yeah.
It could be like empathic burst or something like that.
Empathic touch.
There you go.
Yeah, that. Well, then it'd be like
That works.
empathetic touch instead of empathic.
We'll
Good
figure out the
fun.
exact wording later. I'm just making the note there. But yeah, I will say, because the phasing ability is potentially very strong, and nobody else has
Well, not
anything.
potentially.
Okay, it is very
Not
strong.
potentially strong.
Depends on how much the DM decides to limit it.
Yeah.
And we don't want the storyteller to limit it too much, so we also gave ghosts -1 body. If they start with only 1 dot, then their second dot will cost 20 XP to get instead of 10. And then they proceed as normal after.
The other thought I would have on phasing is do like with the dark vision. Set a hard, fast depth. They can't.
We discussed that. We threw that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we kind of went through that, a lot of different options there. And the fact
I was
that
an advocate for the depth rule, but
there were a lot of options thrown out there, but I just kept looking, and I'm thinking about the anime with this kind of stuff, and it's like, that's a really powerful ability, but a minus to one of their actual attributes is also a big detriment.
No. But it'd be like putting it's like limiting the dark vision and limiting the empathetic touch. Putting a hard limit on it allows it gives the DMs a little more fodder to fight the rules lawyers.
How much? What would you recommend on the limit then?
6 feet.
Yeah.
Nothing
I mean,
thicker than
like,
6 feet.
it'd have to be like a foot measure.
My concern there is some Pokemon are really big. And so putting in a general rule gets a bit tricky when, you got some Pokemon that I'm pretty sure there is at least one ghost type that is bigger than 6 foot.
No. You're not understanding what I'm saying. The object they're phasing through cannot be thicker than 6 feet. not that they can only move 6 feet when phasing.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that. What I'm
So
saying...
I'm not sure what that matters with an 8-foot Pokemon phasing through a 6-foot wall versus a 3-foot Pokemon phasing through a 6-foot wall. The rule's the same. It's a 6-foot wall.
What about floors?
6-foot floor.
6 foot.
6 foot. The object they're phasing through cannot be thicker than 6 feet.
And if it is, then they can enter in 6. They can go 6 feet into it if they want to, but they can't pass that.
My point here is the Shadow Sneak ability.
Yeah, that's a move.
That is a move, but
moves. So
what
one of the things.
What I'm trying to get at here is that they do sink fully into the ground and then emerge behind the target.
Oh, this is where we take a page out of trading card games. There's a cart launch in trading card games that the text on the card breaks the rules.
Okay. I do like a suggestion from Seda in chat.
I actually don't mind that one.
You don't mind it or don't like it?
I don't mind it, actually.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty good one. It gives us...
And it would give, like, Giratina, for example, like, a way to actually, like, go through stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one to just keep in mind as you move forward is that moves, in this case, abilities, specific situations can break the rules. For example, a druid can't wild shape into an owlbear, except under certain statistical requirements. Always keep in mind that just because you have a hard fast limit or a hard fast rule in one area does not mean you cannot create something that allows a player to break that rule by obtaining some ability, some skill.
Yeah, that is why I brought up that it's an actual move instead of it jumping.
Fair. Okay. Well, I like the idea of the 2-foot limit per dot in Soul.
Yeah, I like that too.
I like that one.
But yeah, it helps to give players and DMs a guideline.
And besides, we're making a fairly soft system, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, but this system's pretty gentle.
Yeah, that is our goal. We want it to be flexible.
I was around when 5th edition dropped, and half of the rules were unformed.
Yeah, half the rules were literally half the rules were like grabbing a Ouija board to like put your hand on it and try to divine what you feel by the light of Mars.
Jeremy Crawford, I summon you.
Yeah. What I started doing was I just started defaulting back to 3.5 rules in regards to it.
Yeah.
I was just like, no,
that's what a lot of people
I'm not playing this.
It's exactly what I did. I honestly took
it works the same.
I took a look at some of the rules in 5th edition, and I'm like, is there an answer here? Is there an actual rule here? Is this
you divine what it means by the light of Mars.
I wound up just kind of throwing out the rule book and just being like, okay, I know 3.5. We're going with that.
Yeah.
We'll use
Yeah.
most of the stats and stuff from 5th because it's new.
And then there are some rules that once you know what the official ruling is still nonsense.
It's true. It's
Like
very
if
true.
Yeah, like if you want to hit a bullseye, going invisible helps your aim.
Yeah.
It's beneficial.
One thing that made me pretty angry at one point was like confusion over like held action sort of stuff. And it's like,
Ugh.
technically speaking, they can react to my held action before I can make the action. And it was just like bullshit.
Yeah, that's a no. And I kiboshed that one pretty fast with my players because I was like, no, that does not work.
Yeah, way to make tactical like action usage literally dead. Great job, guys.
Sorry, I missed what that was about.
We were talking about held actions and how WotC came out and said that that enemies could react to you holding your action.
Oh.
It
bullshit.
It enraged me severely.
Yeah.
That is complete and total bullshit.
And that was actually the generic consensus of like 99% of DMs was like, that's bullshit. I'm not doing that.
I mean, it killed one of my favorite things to do playing an archer character, which was I hold my action and I see and I'm waiting for when an enemy begins to cast, then I shoot them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Snipe.
Like I love doing that shit. And it's like, okay, well now apparently they get to see the fact that I am stealthed and aiming a bow at the fight, waiting to pick out like the mage when they show themselves. But apparently, even though I'm in stealth, I fire the arrow and then they can react already.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh,
There's
and
literally only... Go ahead.
Oh, and by the way, official ruling, if you can see someone but they're invisible, you still have disadvantage on the attack.
How would you
Fair
see
enough.
them if they're invisible?
True sight.
They're true sight, blind sight.
You douse
But I
them
think
with
blind sight.
paint.
Yeah, so then they're no longer invisible.
It was meant so that players didn't have a workaround, or that the enemies couldn't get advantage against players. But it's just like, guys, this is just clunky. We had a house rule at the store. When in doubt, whatever makes it easier to run the game and easier for the players to win.
Yep.
If that meant that the you have disadvantage if you can see an invisible character, was held up when a NPC was attacking a invisible PC, and not the other way around, then that's what that meant. Because holy crap.
Yeah. But I mean, like, 5e is great. It's just like, it came out with half, like, they took the rules out of the oven halfway.
Yeah, and
it came out like a version of Windows.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I shouldn't be able to, like, it shouldn't be indistinguishable from me opening D&D Wiki and, like, going through the homebrew tab.
Yeah.
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 And as much as it seems like I'm harsh on Jeremy Crawford, his job is not to errata the material. It's to very strictly state what the rules are trying to say, even when they don't make sense.
Unfortunately, there was a lot of Musk Twitter level bullshit going on at WotC at the time.
Oh yes,
That is true.
I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you how many games or how many times we have had a rule disagreement, and I've consulted Google and had 15 different answers. And 2 of those
Official
opposing
sources.
to each other are official sources.
Yeah.
Here's
Sleep
one
well,
that hasn't
Seda.
actually.
Thank you so much for coming by.
Oh yeah, have a good night.
Also,
Have a good
hey there,
night, Seda.
Wernimal. I look forward to
have a
seeing you
question
tomorrow
for
for Poker Roll. Or tonight.
I have a question
Maybe we'll
for
do
you
it
guys.
tonight. Get in here, Seda. We're having Poker Roll.
But it's already tonight that we were playing for me.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Carry on with your
It's
question.
3 a.m. for me.
Oh, Darius has
Yeah.
a question.
Yes, that is what we carry on with. So, you know how half orc relentless endurance works, right? If you would be dropped to 0 by something and not killed, you would go to 1 HP instead 1 time a day, and you can choose to do this or not. Technically speaking, what about disintegrate spells and disintegrate effects like the mind flare, stuff that they can do where they like eat your brain? Technically speaking, it only kills them if it reduces them to 0, but also based on how you determine the stack and how you want the stack to resolve, it can either make it so that way, they just die outright and they don't get it, or they hang on with 1 HP.
And yeah,
And if you Google it,
yeah,
Google
I'm
it.
sure everybody's got different answers on that one.
yeah.
And my stance would always be err on the side of the players because they're supposed to be heroes.
Yep. But I do have another thing like where I'm like, okay, well let's make it a roll and add some tension. Make a con save.
Yeah.
Like can your character hold on through the effects of remain at 1 HP?
And that's the great thing about being a DM is you get to make the rules dance to what you feel they need to in order to provide the best experience for your players. It's just, when you get weird, we're gonna try and tank D&D because we don't want to do anything but Magic the Gathering anymore. And we're gonna fire half of the D&D team and move the other half to Magic the Gathering because we're preemptively expecting this edition of D&D to fail, and oh wait, Critical Role.
Yeah.
There's not much you can
Well,
do.
Critical
about
Role
that kind
and
of
Dimension
nonsense.
20.
Yeah. But all the D&D podcasts and vodcasts that cropped up, year 2, I think, of 5th Ed, suddenly it went from, Wizards was basically telling us game stores that they weren't expecting to produce any more content for it anytime soon to, holy shit, we better get more books out.
Yep.
And
then they started making all of these random, pop culture. I'm not going to quite say pandering, but it definitely was like pop culture. Like, hey guys, don't you like X?
Well, it makes sense if you think about it. Their audience had suddenly very much grown. And, well, when you have a general audience, you cater to general taste. And who doesn't like pop culture?
Yeah.
Yep.
And there was...
But I'm just more pointing out that it happened.
Yeah. It did. It happened. And now, was it the best choice? That remains to be seen, because what you're doing is you're attempting to keep a fan base that has come into your property by handing them something that's not typically part of that property. And that's a real slippery slope from a development and from a business standpoint.
Yeah. It's always tough when it comes to stuff like that.
Oh, it is. It very much is. On the flip side, though, I can play fucking Ravnica in D&D. Hello.
Yeah. It's cool.
there are upsides that even the nerds aren't arguing too loudly with.
Yeah.
It's just more.
I mean, we're playing
I'd like
Ravnica in
to
our we're playing Ravnica in our Wednesday game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
heck, my major argument against Ravnica wasn't that it existed, it's that it just didn't do enough for the setting. They needed, like, another book.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say, my
Yeah.
complaint was that instead of, like, whole-assing one setting, they half-assed two.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't mind if you do the pop culture stuff, but if you're going to do it, you do it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't sit there and you go, okay, well, let's, like, take all the stuff that's 5e and just, like, slap a Ravnica sticker on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that isn't how you do it. You adapt the 5e to being Ravnica.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like they release some things just to test the water. Like, I don't believe Radiant Citadel was their brainchild. I believe that's them testing the water to see if other settings will, like, appeal to the general masses.
Yeah, and when they released the Stranger Things source book, that was kind of their pioneer into, can we get away with this shit? And
well, it was funny that
probably
they
ate it up.
Rygon, you are doing an incredible job. Don't doubt yourself.
No, it's just like these are world builders, These are people who go out and they make all these fantastic details and worlds and whatnot. And I'm like, well, shit, if they're getting complaints, then damn.
Okay,
you're not getting
You're
complaints.
imposter syndrome right there.
I was about to say, Ragon, I know imposter syndrome extremely well, and that is the calling card right there. The first time that I wrote something that was popular, I freaked out because I felt like a complete imposter because I hadn't even ever taken, like, a writing class beyond, like, 10th grade.
I guess it just goes to show you didn't need a writing class until 10th grade.
Yeah, and it's almost like you don't need to compare yourself to other professional world builders because you're doing a great job.
Fair enough. Oh, I mean, well, that's why I typed it over in Zim's chat because I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the conversation.
Yeah. Also, your job as a world builder is different than what a writer has to do when they're world building. They have to make, like, a world that anyone can use and do it right. You get to, like, make your world with purpose within the scope of the setting, which is completely different.
You know what? I suppose that is definitely a fair argument. We are looking at two different standards of world building here. One's for a small group of players, and the other one is more for a very, very general audience.
I'm also going to turn your thought process on its ear here. If all of these big guys are still having people complain after the fact that you have entire teams working on their worlds, but your players don't complain, who's doing the better job?
Fair enough. I think, Zim, like, our biggest complaint so far is that we're pumping out too many episodes, not necessarily the content.
That is the only complaint we've gotten. Aside from suggestions for how to improve them, which I don't really consider those complaints. It's just, hey, I like this. Here's how to do it a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of that stuff is just straight up
page document.
Right.
And most of that,
and a lot of that is
just
just straight up
side.
mechanical. Yeah, stream side stuff.
Stream side
Production
or
value.
the mechanics, which are, we're literally working on that now.
Yeah.
Well, I do know this. It'll definitely be a surprise to me once you all finally get this all figured out.
Something in development being rolled out?
No. Once you finally get it figured out. Because, like, I've barely been participating in these things. I'm just half listening at all times.
I mean, that is
true. So it'll be a surprise
like,
as much to me as it will be to the audience once it finally gets done.
Well, to be fair, you were, like, the only person that was, like, actually in chat with us too much. Like, besides, You know, like you're like one of the only other people in chat when we were having the intense discussion last night.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was
think you have a better idea.
exhausted.
I have a bit of a
Yeah.
better idea, sure, but it's like, I don't know. It's just ADHD, just my mind wanders. Like, oh, here's a discussion. Oh, it doesn't concern me. Oh, shiny.
Ooh, shiny.
But that discussion does involve you.
I know, which is weird.
Like, more than anyone, I want you involved on this as the one that's going to be running the system.
Well, I remember you all were actually talking a little bit earlier about potentially having long rests refresh some sort of a reroll mechanic.
Yes.
Okay. Did you end up changing that particular, or is it still the same?
So,
additional detail.
Yeah, additional detail would be the better way to put it. So using the vigor or willpower to restore health or, reroll, will incur points of exhaustion. Every 2 points of exhaustion will cause a -1 die for every roll. I don't want to tie those just to body and mind. I want it to be everything. Because they'll be pulled together to go against everything. So that is a bit of a balance to be like, okay, yes, I can heal during combat using this ability. However, that's going to cause me to have a -1 to every roll for the rest of this battle.
Gotcha. Well, there is one thing that kind of concerns me, and this comes from both the reroll mechanic utilizing long rest and the fact that this incurs point of exhaustion. Something that I've noticed in another system is that when this was introduced, players would just rest all the time, everywhere, fully interrupting flow of the game. Be like, oh, okay, guys, I'm down a point. Let's go ahead and set up camp here for like the next 5 hours. And as a DM, then my job would be like, oh, now I got to set up an ambush or something like that just to get the players moving. Like you can't exactly do a long rest in the middle of a dungeon. But that's just the issue. It starts to create an issue where either players are pausing too much, or the DM has to look like they're being a jackass by interrupting the player's very valid way of handling a mechanic.
Yeah.
On that front, we're always going to have people, or we're always going to have stuff like that.
Of course, that's just my little 2 cents on that particular issue.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with you on the principle, but I also feel like there's steps that, as a DM that people can take in order to disincentivize that, where it's like, what if, they need to get to someplace fast, but they take a rest because, they've incurred exhaustion. And by the time they get there, now the thing they were supposed to help with is already over, and now they have to help pick up the pieces.
Well, I'd say that this is actually a pretty easy thing to fix. 1 long rest in every 24-hour period. And the DM can determine that 24-hour period.
Oh, that was already going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but that 1 helps to keep the flow from being interrupted, and 2 doesn't set all of the task on the DM in order to determine how this mechanic is going to operate.
Yeah, I was already planning the 1 long rest per 8-hour period. That was already going to be a thing.
Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go back to just doing my own thing. Continue the conversation.
Yep.
No, you. You're reminding people that they're cute. I say no, you.
Well, of course I'm cute. Darling, I knew that already.
I mean, there's only one character in this team that can actually make an uwu face, and that is Lyndon's character.
Fair.
Uwu?
Still wonder how Jolene tastes.
It's very sweet.
Well, no matter what, the answer is good.
Yes, I was going to say very sweet and absolutely delectable. But hopefully nobody tries to completely eat Jolene. I need
What-
that character.
Oh,
What flavors, Jolene?
Well,
You
it doesn't
know?
really matter. It'll never be quite as good as the first stick.
Hey guys, I literally I was making notes on everything, like everything that I noticed, and I literally made note of that in my important notes for Raygon.
Yeah, you reminded me that was a thing. I need to remind Argus
Hey,
of
look,
it.
look. No, Argus said he wrote it down on his character sheet that it wasn't as good as the first stick.
That is true. That is true.
He said he did that.
So I am thinking on the vigor willpower. They regenerate exhaustion at 1 point per long rest.
Okay.
Or we could do 2 points.
Well, I guess it kind of depends. How often do we expect this mechanic to be pulled out? Just on average? And how debilitating is exhaustion actually to an individual player?
Even at max level, even if they max out everything, they could wind up with 10 points of exhaustion. If they max out both their vigor and willpower, and use all of them, that will be a minus 10 dice penalty to every roll.
So it's a minus dice penalty, not necessarily that if you reach 3 points of exhaustion, you die.
Correct.
No, it's just you get a scaling negative.
Okay.
It's a linearly scaling negative. You can go as far into exhaustion debt as you want, up to your max. But, once you get there, you are at your quite literal limit for your mind and body. Well, not mind and body for, the stats. I mean,
that's actually not a bad idea, though. We could say that... Because at that point, with the minus 10, they will have... they will have 20 points of exhaustion. So perhaps if they decide to continue, say one day they use, let's say all of their vigor and willpower, and they're at max, so they are at 20 points of exhaustion. Yes. Then the next day, they recover 1 or 2 points of exhaustion. They're down to 18. But they have recovered half of their vigor and willpower. We could do it where if they do reach that 21, they do die.
I think that is something that needs... I think that is a good mechanic. And my reasoning for this is because otherwise I very much feel that this mechanic could have a flow and abuse aspect to it. And honestly, I do want players to think on a role-playing level, do I want to do this?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just simply another system where, points equal action, even if it does result in a negative against them. Go ahead.
I do want to make a note that I don't know about instant death, but incapacitation would be good.
Yeah, pass out. You literally pass out and cannot wake up for 8 hours.
Yeah, this is Pokemon, not Resident Evil.
Because obviously, if they do that in a dangerous area, they may die from doing it in a dangerous area. Mm-hmm. But they shouldn't die from that and that alone.
It'd be like running out of PP. Yeah, you may still have health, but you can't do shit.
And if it's a pass out thing, then that can always leave the door open for last bouts of heroism.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Have that last point be something called the heroic moment or something like that, where a player can actually have an advantage on a roll or something like that, but then they're debilitated. They're out for a long period of time. That way, it gives players an incentive to go you know what? There is an actual role-play moment. I'm going to utilize this mechanic rather than, oh shit, we're almost to this mechanic. I better not do anything for a while.
Yeah, I agree. Becoming incapacitated is a good idea.
What
And
if you go over the cap, you do not regenerate any of your points until your exhaustion goes down to 0 again.
I like that. It forces a bit of a long rest.
I would say
it forces you into a convalescence period.
My
And the
only
reason
concern there is that
Mhm.
in that case, if we're going with 2 points per long rest that is recovered, that is at least 10 days that they are out. Which
Great.
would make, I
Yeah.
guess it would make roleplay sense. Okay, yeah.
It makes roleplay sense, and honestly, if that's something they don't want to deal with, DM says 10 days pass, continue on your adventure.
I'm a chronic illness sufferer, and I approve this message.
Yeah. We have the expert's approval. Let's go.
Yeah. Plus, we could, or you could always change it if it just ends up not working out. Like, this doesn't happen.
And also, it's always up to DM. Like, if the DM just goes, nah, we're not gonna do that, then they just don't do it.
Yeah.
And DMs can hand out recovery extra if they want to. I mean, that's part of the DM's prerogative. You get to bend the rules.
But if they choose not to do that, then this does give the opportunity for recovery and role play, which I think is just as essential to a lot of stories as the action adventure.
Yep, that's why I brought up that it'd be a convalescence period.
Mm-hmm.
Because win or lose, if you're at the point where you are using, like, let's just like go with like the name of like point of heroism or whatever, like just as a little test name. Like if you use your point of heroism, you have been pushed to a situation in which your character was literally moments away from death if they did not do that. That is a perfect time to force their character to like heal and reflect and like evaluate.
I am going to say that if they are pushed over 20 points, then it will be, and they use it to heal during combat, then it will last until they either lose those, they will go incapacitated after they either lose those HP, that extra HP, or battle ends.
I would say not if they heal themselves. If they heal others, whatever.
Well,
but if they just go and they heal themselves, then that kind of removes the whole purpose of this particular mechanic. Like, this is your push to the absolute brink. Doesn't matter if you manage to heal that cut, your body legitimately just can't take any more.
Yeah.
What I'm saying here is then, like, say they need that extra little bit of HP to get through the fight. Like, yes, they can use it to stay, what's the point in healing yourself at that point? Even, you're not going to get this would take an action to heal yourself in combat. So you push yourself over, sure, you're healed, but now you're unconscious.
So you basically want it to be, you are on your quite literal last legs. If you go down, you are not getting back up. And, like, the moment you stop, you're down.
Exactly. And it's more...
I feel like that's abusable.
I'm saying... Okay. Let me explain this more clearly.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like,
Can I please
so we
explain?
have that. All right.
So, they use their vigor and willpower to heal themselves for, say, they roll well and they get a 10, so they heal themselves for 10 HP. If they lose 10 HP after that, they immediately become incapacitated. Or when the battle ends.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying is the point here.
And that's what I heard.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Yeah. I think he's bringing up the fact that there's no, like, turn limit or anything on that.
Yeah. I feel like
it does make it easily abusable if there's no turn limit. Like, what if you lose some of those HP every single round?
That could be a thing.
Like maybe not
yes.
a hard limit, maybe not, but like a soft limit, where like, because like do even if you do like tank one more hit, it may be that like because you lose like another point or another like 2 points of HP at the end of the round, it'd be like remember how like in the anime a lot of times like the Pokemon would start getting back up and then they'd pass out, like while they were on their way to their feet. It could be like that, just like as an example.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll also point out that usually happens at the end of combat or at a storyline appropriate time. I honestly think that end of combat isn't that. I mean, obviously you want them to pass out, but end of combat is not as abusable as people think it is, because end of combat is in the DM's hands. It's not entirely in the player's hands. If the DM says, okay, that ends combat, and your player takes a dirt nap.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. Like, I feel like this takes a bit of autonomy outside of the DM's hands. It's like, oh shoot, I'm just about to go down. I'm going to use my last point. I'm going to heal up. Great, no consequences to using that last bit. I can continue on. Maybe I take a little bit of plink damage.
There are
I don't know. It
there
doesn't feel
consequences,
good.
though, right,
Yeah.
because they're already taking, they're still taking those minuses to their die rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're at the point where you're at 21, for example, 21 or 22, or like whatever you get to, like if it's, let's say 21, because that's when you use the point of heroism. You have minus 10 dice on every roll.
Which even a maxed out attribute, that's reducing your attribute bonus to 0.
We might.
Would that actually include the healing itself?
The healing is just
a
1d10. Yeah.
Just a 1d10? Okay, so it doesn't matter how much dice is removed, it's still, you get that 1d10. Okay.
Yeah.
This is just a minor.
I was just saying, then that actually does feel a bit better, because in my mind, I was like, well, okay, if they can just roll a bunch of dice, heal all their stuff back or whatever, like, that's a much bigger outcome than a moment of heroism would entail.
Yeah, I'm saying they are they are barely scraping by. They have up to 10 HP left.
Then I feel that's a lot fairer.
This also leaves the option of, if they bottom out and they roll a 1, they've tried their hardest, they get back to their feet, and then they pass out anyways from losing that temp HP at the end of the round. If they lose a little bit at the end of the round,
it would not be temp HP.
No, I'm just saying, like, because the way that you worded it, once you lose 10 HP, let's say if you roll a 10, that makes it, wording wise, because I'm rules lawyering this and like interpreting, if you put it that way, it makes it sound like even if they get healed, like let's say they get healed by an effect, this does not increase the cap that they have.
Correct.
By until they pass out. So this means that even if they're at 30 HP, once they take 10 damage, they're out.
And that's if they rolled that 10.
Yes. So I'm just saying that gives it the feel that it's temp HP, especially considering it all goes away at the end of the fight.
Well,
what's to prevent another player from healing them?
Again, this healing will not impact this. If you roll...
I get what you're saying.
Well, yes, but Rygon doesn't.
Okay.
I'm explaining to Rygon, not you, Darius.
All right. I'm just
Let me put this through here. You have 20 points of exhaustion now. You are at, say, 1 HP left. You use your vigor and willpower to heal yourself during combat. You get 1d10 to roll. You roll, say, a 10. that means that 10, that is it. It's not you being reduced to 0 HP. It is that 10 HP is all you get before you are incapacitated until your exhaustion reaches 0 again.
So it doesn't turn into 11 HP, it's just straight up 10?
Correct.
10.
Okay, so that means if another player were to say, like, I want to heal such and such, doesn't matter, heal automatically fails, they're still at 10.
The heal could even succeed, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, the heal could absolutely succeed to at least keep them from dying if they take too big of a hit, you know. But I'm saying, like,
they're still out once they go past
Okay.
their cap that they get.
So
I guess what I'm asking is, let's say they take 1 blink damage, right? They go to 9. Would the heal bring them back up to 10 or not do anything at all?
It would not do. Okay, let me finish explaining here. Okay, so we've got the 10 HP that they have healed. That would put their HP at 11 with my example here. Now, say Jet's the one doing this. Jolene comes over and heals Jet for 10 HP. That would put Jet at 21 HP. But that does not affect the 10 HP. So if Jet then takes 10 HP damage from the following attack, he is out, even though he still has 11 HP left.
Okay, Zim, maybe if I can put this in a slightly different term.
Go for it.
If somebody uses their last point of exhaustion to heal themselves, or last 2 points of exhaustion to heal themselves, they get D10 HP back and acquire D10, let's call them damage counters. Regardless of what the player's HP is, it does not affect those damage counters, and one of them goes away every time they take a point of damage. And once those damage counters are gone, the character passes out.
Oh, and I definitely get that. So then the next question is, okay, healing doesn't matter. Say, they go up to that 21. Would the healing at this point just be specifically to keep them from dying if they take too big of a hit? That sort of thing. Like the exhaustions is an exhaustion. Okay, so there is an actual point to healing. It just doesn't keep them from falling unconscious.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Because at that point, their body is just too far exhausted. It's too far gone.
Think about it.
Okay, that's all.
I like the term that she used, where it was like they have counters.
Yeah.
Once the counters are out, they have the status effect of incapacitated applied to them. No matter their HP, they could have max HP again by like just some crazy healing, and it wouldn't matter. They'd just be very healthily knocked out.
Let's circle it back to the setting information here, because we are talking Pokemon.
Yes. Yeah.
If your Pokemon is, say, affected by the status condition asleep, it does not affect their HP. They don't heal. They don't lose HP unless they take damage. This is going to fall under that same category until something's done specifically to raise that HP, or they reach the point in which we've established in the rules that they heal HP. It's not going to the HP they have. It's still going to maybe be important to heal them, because the other players may, say, for example, need to get them to a Pokemon Center.
Yeah. And that's all I wanted to know, because my big question was actually twofold. One, is it possible that a player could continue standing on their feet after they lost that 10 HP? And the other one is, okay, is there a point to the healing at all? And, well, we've reached both now.
Yes.
Slitherite, for the record, healing is still useful. We are specifically talking about a last-ditch effort, a heroic moment, where presumably everything else has already been exhausted. presumably
Pikachu's
nobody's
standing
going.
up one more time.
Yeah,
Beat
exactly.
your ass,
It's
Arceus.
literally that.
This
It's
is
literally that scene from the anime that happens like fairly commonly, where the Pokemon
like
is
every
quite
episode.
literally, yeah,
They
a very special
overuse that
moment in
too
every
much.
episode where the Pokemon, like, very clearly should not be standing. It is unhealthy at this point for them to even be on their own legs, and they stand up one final time to keep fighting.
Oh man, that 1d10 roll. It's like, okay, guys, I'm doing it. I'm gonna stand up, and we're gonna take out this boss. And I know I'm the last player, and roll 1 HP.
Yeah, and then you pass out immediately after that.
You just get like straight up
out,
slapped.
No, you only pass
No.
out if you do take that 1 point of damage, to be fair. But though with
You're on
these
your feet.
penalties, I'm thinking of making this a bonus action instead of an action for these. For the
And make sure that
combat
if
healing.
you use it, it like you get
Yeah.
the one use like extra.
Or-
Like you
'cause-
throw your all into this last thing.
Yeah. And
Yeah, with
because
with the
part of
penalties, we should be able to make it a bonus action at all times.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I want to, part of my limitation on them using it is taking their action instead of a bonus action. But with this, yeah, I think a bonus action is good.
Can I make a tiny suggestion and feel free to say no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Go ahead.
You brought it on yourself.
Yeah, so given that a -10 is basically debilitated anyway, wouldn't it be better if the formula for exhaustion is like is every 4 round down?
No,
So
because the reason it's 2 is because you start with 2.
you start with 2 exhaustion?
No, you start with 1. So you start with 2 things that you can use that would actually give you exhaustion. You have the 1 point in vigor, and you have the 1 point in will. That means that if you use both of them as like a level 1 character, and you don't have any extra points, then you still take a point of exhaustion.
Yeah.
Which
Do
is
we maybe
important
wanna
because
cap
then
exhaustion at 5 then?
No. I don't want to cap it at 5.
at the very least it'd be at like 10 or something. It also would. The thing is that it would invalidate going beyond 5 in that specific thing for most things. Where it's like, why would I want to go above 5 in each when I can't use more than that anyways before I'm exhausted?
Yeah.
Because if we're keeping them both going up to 10, you need to be able to go through your entire pool in one situation if you start at 0 exhaustion.
Okay. Good point.
Plus, it's just easier to keep track of. It is easier to divide by 2 than it is not.
Yeah, then there probably would need to be a system where you can ignore the penalties for inaction. Otherwise, at 20, why heal? Why bother?
Well, that's why we were bringing up getting the special bonus for like whatever you're doing for your moment of heroism.
Yeah, we could do it with if you use that thing to heal, it would erase the negative for that round. Yeah, later the next round comes around, and if you're still up in that heroic moment, you get that penalty back. But we could have it erase the exhaustion for that one round, as in addition to the healing.
Well, not the exhaustion itself, but the effects of exhaustion.
The effects, yes. That's what
if you say it removes the exhaustion, then you're at 0 exhaustion, and you're not.
Yeah.
And you're then
It
technically
renders the
speaking,
whole the whole point of this moot.
So, from a rule
Yeah.
standpoint, it would be worded if you use this, you'd basically just append to the heal rule. If you use your last points of exhaustion doing this, you ignore the exhaustion penalty on your next roll.
I'm thinking of having the healing just so it doesn't sting as much if they do use it and only get 1 HP back. I think I'm going to do it where it also erases the effects of exhaustion for that next roll. Basically giving them a, kind of a second wind. They're summoning up all of their strength, all of their willpower, every scrap of their fiber to heal a little bit and also get a good blast in.
Yeah.
And Zim, I can sit and help you with the exact wording on that, because I've written similar rules before.
Yeah, I have too.
And
that's why I occasionally get on you where it's like, hey, just really quickly change that.
Yeah.
Speaking of exhaustion, I'm needing to head to bed because I am exhausted.
Sleep well.
Okay. Sleep then.
Yeah.
What were you trying to say?
Great night.
You as well. What are you trying to say, Neo?
I was going to say it works narratively as well, because once you get to 10 exhaustion, you're going to have to start burning. You're going to have to start burning through your remaining exhaustion just to have actions worth a dang.
Yeah. Which honestly tracks in how the body
that
works.
tracks. Like the more tired you are, the more effort you have to put into doing anything, which makes you more and more tired.
Yep.
And it means that you can, use everything super early on to be, maximally effective for as long as possible before just, going out like a light. Or you could, stretch the battle into a battle of attrition where, you're fighting it out and you're effectively just refusing to go down.
Yeah.
There might even...
you're sort of doing, the ineffectual struggle where, you aren't doing much, but you're staying on your feet.
Yeah. There might even be moves that cost exhaustion.
Yeah, you have to be self-destruct would be a great example of that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Self-destruct would max out your exhaustion, you'd pass out afterwards, but it does a ton of damage.
Could even have it be where like the damage
and leaves you at 1 HP.
Leaves you at 1 HP, and if you use self-destruct, it multiplies based on how far you are from 21.
Yeah, you know what? How about you put your exhaustion up to 21, and for however many exhaustion points you just gained, it multiplies the damage.
Yeah.
Oh, I just gotta die.
I wouldn't say just one die. I would say a die per dot of exhaustion.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying.
So if you're using exhaustion, or if you're using
well, when I say add damage, I mean add damage to your pool of die to roll.
Yeah.
So if you're at 0 exhaustion, that would add...
That's 20 dice of extra damage.
Yeah. Which makes sense for self-destruct.
Yeah, and you know what? You're putting literally all of your energy into it right away.
Yeah.
And then for...
Have fun healing for the next 10 days.
Yeah, no joke. And then Explosion, which I believe is the upgraded version of self-destruct, it's ×2.
Yeah.
Self-destruct is already so powerful, it doesn't really need this boost.
These would probably be outside of... it would not do regular damage. It would be based on your exhaustion.
Yeah, we're saying that this is its damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could either do 5 dice, or it could do legitimately just 20 straight out the gate.
Yeah, I'm just saying Explosion would be powerful enough if it just was an AoE.
The thing about AoEs is that AoE for explosion can also hit your teammates.
Oh,
You
wait.
don't select targets with explosion, you explode. I'm just already thinking about like the thematic experience of like having your ally that you know knows explode tell you to run and get out of the radius while they stand back. You
Imagine
Me,
have to
having
make
it be the
heroic sacrifices.
I have players that do it. They have a code word when someone is about to use Thunderwave.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's that kind of strategy is actually something to encourage.
Yeah, it is.
Like my husband has this grung bard he's playing, and he has a very specific like musical sequence he does when he's about to use Thunderwave, and everybody else knows to get out of the way.
Except that they can't go too far away if you use self-destruct or explosion, because you're going to be left with only 1 HP, and you're going to be unconscious.
Right.
Yeah, well,
and
it could also prompt your entire team to immediately throw up protects.
That too.
that's true too.
That's the better way of doing it. But I'm just saying, like, you know.
Yeah.
But as an example of something that could use the exhaustion mechanic to benefit a player or to bump up a move, explosion / self-destruct is a really great example of that.
Yep.
There could even
anything that
be
hits multiple times.
There could even be various other abilities, reversal perhaps, that gets boosted by exhaustion.
There's also ones like
Final Gambit.
Final Gambit. What's the one I'm thinking of? Not Solar Beam. There's moves where you don't get to do anything the next turn.
Yeah, like Solar
those
Beam if you
ones-
don't have Sun.
Yeah,
Hyper Beam.
Those Hyper Beam. That was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Those kinds of moves might automatically incur a point of exhaustion.
I was
Yeah.
thinking about it, suggesting that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just more
because
thinking over the implications, because then you would also have to add in things like, you know, if you're using like Solar Beam or Hyper Beam and all that, you don't have like the positive, because there's like versions where you're like, you know, Pokemon doesn't have to recover next turn, so then you'd have to put like an if, you know, you would have to wait next turn, you would have to for the exhaustion instead of just being able to do it.
I personally definitely don't want a player to be like, well, I used a Solar Beam / Hyper Beam, I'm not doing anything this turn.
Right.
I don't want a player
much
to go
rather
through
they-
that.
I would much
Okay,
rather
so the
they
exhaustion
incur a point
in
of
lieu.
exhaustion.
Yeah.
Exhaustion in lieu of it.
Yeah, in lieu
But
of
what if they
skipping their
also
turn.
would originally not have to take that turn? Would they also not get the exhaustion point? Or would they get
What
it
do you-
anyways?
What do you mean?
He's talking about like grass types that don't necessarily have to take a turn to recharge from Solar Beam.
Yeah, so like for example, like during intense sunlight, you know, you don't have to like absorb light on the first turn for Solar Beam.
Well then, yeah, they don't
You just get to
incur the
use it.
point of exhaustion.
All right.
I would,
That's
and
what
you'd
I was
leave
asking.
that. You'd leave those field effects up to the DM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave it up to the DM. The only other thing I could even think about is just have a natural cooldown on such powerful moves.
Oh yeah, we'll have a cooldown
Yeah.
on them, but they can use something else the next turn.
Yeah.
That
Because,
part,
it's Pokemon.
that
You got
part
access
is when
to
we
a
get to the
billion
moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like one thing that kind of like would kind of concern me would be like the explode. All right, I explode. Sure, I have 1 HP, but they're all down. Oh, here comes another wave. Explode.
Well, no.
And there
because
wouldn't really
you
be
can't
much
do
of
that.
a.
Right.
Well, yeah, but what's up?
We did specify that explosion would put you at 21 exhaustion points.
Oh, so it would toss you all the way up there. Oh, I thought
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
no,
would only
it
it'd only like
uses-
chunk up a little bit, like 5 at
No,
a time.
it
Use whatever
uses-
you have left.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you're at 0, you get literally 0 all the way up to 21, that's how many die you're rolling. If you use it when you're at like 15, you've just gained 6, you only roll 6 die, you've used everything you have left.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
As an aside though, like having powerful moves being able to be used consecutively, like that obviously as a DM that would concern me.
Yes.
We'll cover that stuff.
Yeah, just something to keep in mind.
I would, so for Hyper Beam, for example, where you shoot out turn 1, second turn you are unable to do anything. We don't want that in this system because that feels terrible for a player, because they're sitting there, okay, I've gone through, I've been sitting here for 10 minutes waiting for my turn to come around. I use Hyper Beam. Well, now I'm waiting 20 minutes for my third turn to come around before I can do anything again. So instead, they'll incur, say, 2 points of exhaustion, and they cannot use Hyper Beam again the next turn. But they could, say, use Ember or something on the next turn.
And that's what I would prefer.
Yeah, that's how I want to do it as well.
I absolutely agree with that.
But that's something that we'll cover and remember when we do reach actual move by move going through all those. Because as much as we don't want to, as much as we're trying to avoid having to go through every single Pokemon and every single move, we will have to.
Yep.
Even if it's just to say, okay, this one will work with the system as is, move on to the next.
Yeah, that was one thing that I pointed out, where it's like the vast majority of like the legwork is literally just going to be the fact we have to go through every single move. Even if it's just rubber stamping the move for approval and sending it on its way, we still have to look at it and think about it. And then discuss it with the others going, hey, what do you think about this? Pass it along? Yep. Okay, good.
Welcome to game dev.
Right.
Yep.
There's also move interactions, because there might be some things that we initially might rubber stamp that will require us to then go back and revise simply because it interacts oddly with another move, or too well, or not well enough.
That's why
I still don't understand why Pokeroll.
That's why the first version that you put on the table is called an alpha.
Yeah.
Because your chat is hell for even putting it out there in that state.
Yep. You mean like Mega Punch, a move that was never good.
No, but it still baffles me why the Pokeroll devs decided to not only put Imprison in there as is, but also buff it.
I'm with implications.
RZ!
It took you this long to realize I was in call?
I'm not looking at anything that would do. One,
and
we were
you
talking.
Get mad at me for leaving you alone.
One, we were talking and you had not said anything before then. 2, I am in streaming mode and do not get notifications when people join the call. 3, I have something covering my preview of the stream right now, as well as I've got reference material covering my preview of the stream. I see enough of the stream to be able to know, I see a bear sliver to know, okay, it's still going, but I don't see, okay, somebody new has joined the chat. I have no way to see
he's been ignoring you.
Okay.
He's been purposely
so
ignoring you.
I didn't say anything because y'all were talking, and I didn't see a good way to come in. So that one, there. The other 2 are valid reasons.
Zim's so proud of finally getting me to do a full furball PNG tuber.
Oh, it's very cute.
It's extremely cute. Now give it blinking animations.
It does have blinking animations.
Good.
I have it for full PNG tuber because for some reason my computer does not like to run OBS, VC Face, VTuber Plus, and Phasmo at the same time.
Wonder why.
I have a fairly
Hey there, Achi and Rocco. Good to see you both.
I'm still on DDR3, which should give you an idea of the age of my system.
Yeah, well, I was being a bit sarcastic.
Yeah. Cause Panther's a broke kitty, that's why.
Alright, so let's go back to the exhaustion stuff, make sure I got everything written down. Notes that I have here. Using vigor and or willpower will incur a point of exhaustion. Every 2 dots of exhaustion, I'll rename that to points of exhaustion, will cause a -1 die for every roll. To clarify, using vigor and willpower to heal during combat will incur 2 points of exhaustion.
Pretty clear.
You regenerate half of your maximum of vigor and willpower per long rest, rounded up. You regenerate exhaustion at 2 points per long rest. If you reach 21 or more exhaustion points, you will become incapacitated with no chance or ability of being awoken until exhaustion reaches 0 again.
That's 10 days in a coma. No, 11 days.
Yes, we
in a
know.
coma.
We know.
All right.
Yeah. This is, you have pushed yourself beyond its limit, and your body is like, fuck you, you're unconscious. I can't
This
do
is
anything
literally
more.
you doing something. This is you doing something so
disciple.
insanely unhealthy for your body that you are now being like in a convalescence period.
And we've also placed the power on the DM side for this one. So if the DM decides, okay, your 10 days have passed, continue your adventure, they can. But this presents an opportunity for roleplay aside in terms of the recovery.
Glory
Yeah.
beyond
Or it
glory.
could also
Hello
be-
there. And Kalu, thank you very much for that. Excuse me. Thank you very much for that follow.
Yeah, because you can't survive falling unconscious this way. You have to have someone like feed you and water you.
Well, that's why you
Just takes
have
a
your
little-
friends.
Just gets a little watering can and just like puts it over the fire type.
Yeah.
Heal.
I do just want to like point out where it's like, you like it also gives the DM power to like make a really, really hyper rare like let's say like a really hyper rare item where it could recover you from your convalescence period.
The DM
But that's
wants
like up to the
give that
DM. Like you can
ability
do that if they
to
want to.
Something like a Pokemon Center.
Yeah.
To me though, that's like end game material right there. That's definitely
Yeah, I
not
know.
my tossing just for funsies.
No,
Yeah.
that's like this is your reward for helping out a legendary Pokemon type reward.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even then, I would probably make it like a one-time use, 3 times maximum.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this
If
is
I
entirely
really had a
up to
dangerous
the
setting.
This is entirely
but
up
this
to
is up to
the
the DM.
storyteller.
Yeah,
Don't care what I don't
That-
care
that's
what the
just-
storyteller comes up with.
yeah. That's
We've
just
built the
my.
walls of the sandbox. You can choose to modify.
If you want to tear down those walls of the sandbox, that is your prerogative. I don't care. We're not going to have police show up at your house saying, "How dare you break the walls of our game?"
You'll never take me alive, coppers.
You can Gorbachev this as much as you want. Tear down this wall.
Yeah, but at least with that particular like, not necessarily mechanic, but item. I mean, that's just my 2 cents on something like that.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just throwing it out there. It gives the possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I put in here at the end of that thing of no chance or ability of being awoken until exhaustion reaches 0 again outside of storyteller intervention.
Yeah, that's a good note.
Yeah.
When using vigor and willpower to heal during combat, done as a bonus action, it erases the effects of exhaustion for the next roll made.
Do we want to make us?
I thought we were only doing that for the last ditch effort, not every single time.
No, we discussed it being every time. I mean, either way, you are getting...
automatically.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I was just trying to let you go because you're the streamer.
Part of it
the way that
is-
we sort of rationalized it is that if you do this for every single roll, you have now reached a new dice that you no longer get. So if you want to keep doing that and not like getting the penalty, you'd have to use that every single turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, if you run up like right up against your limit before you get to the 21st, you After that, you, throughout the rest of the combat, are rolling at such a large negative that, you've essentially come out swinging as hard as you can with no regard for your staying power in the fight. You were just going for like first round knockout, and you're in the third round now.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I think it feels better for the players, especially because it offsets that possibility of only healing 1 HP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it also removes the 10 exhaustion, might as well sit out the rest of the battle situation.
True.
Yeah. So you just know that literally every single time that you do this, like, you have to, like, if you do this twice, you have to rest for an entire another day before you get that back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, no, actually, every time you do that, you have to rest for another day before you, like, get back to where you were before. So, you pay for it. If not immediately, but you do pay for it.
Also, instead of erases, maybe we should put delays.
I mean, I think the wording is fine as is.
Yeah, the wording is fine, because delays implies that, like, it kicks in again extra later.
Yeah.
If it says it erases, it just means it, like, negates, erases, whatever word you want to use, but it implies that you
is usually what's used in this situation.
Yeah.
I'm okay with doing removes instead.
It is important that, like, it just removes the effects. You still have all those nice, lovely points of exhaustion you have accrued.
Yep. And it says that removes the effects.
Yeah.
I have the stream open. I'm looking at the page.
Yes.
Well, my friends, I officially am at the point where my brain is hello. So
Okay,
I will have to bid
get
you
some
all
sleep.
good night. And I
Nice.
hope I was helpful.
Well, you definitely were.
You
Thank
were
you for
very
helping.
helpful. The idea of the exhaustion, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no problem. It's actions have consequences, and dealing with chronic illness the way I do, I kind of definitely have a unique perspective on that.
I understand that fully.
All right, guys, have a good night, and best of
You too.
luck on making more progress.
All right. What area are we going to extremely overvamp next?
We're gonna overvamp Zim by a lot.
Okay,
Ooh, do we get to pamper him?
real quick, I have written in this. When vigor and willpower are used to heal during combat, but it puts you at 21 plus exhaustion, you will be able to keep fighting until whatever healing you receive from this is removed. If you roll 10 for the healing, then when you take 10 total damage, you will become incapacitated. Otherwise, you will last until the end of the current combat. I think that's pretty
You may
good
wanna put
wording.
before becoming incapacitated.
Before you will become incapacitated.
Yeah, so it says otherwise you will last until the end of the current combat before you become incapacitated.
Before, okay.
That way it's just nice and clear. No murkiness.
Yeah. We don't want this to be fantasy flight manual.
To be fair, on all of this, we're going to be play testing. ideally, we'll make some smaller groups, some shorter term groups just to run through it as well. Let them play test it. Probably even some high level groups as well, just to play test. And we'll be able to edit this and be like, and we'll make it clear at the beginning of the streams for those that we are playtesting the system. So there may be times where we have to interrupt the system or the play. We'll try to do it at the end, but there may be times where we have to interrupt the play to go over mechanics.
Not to mention, like, the wording here for most of this is like very rough and unrefined. Like,
All
we
of
haven't
this
even copy
currently-
edited this.
All of this currently is just notes. I am focused
it's
more
mechanic.
on notes and getting the basics down, and then later on we can make it more fanciful and drawn out and much more explained.
And then we also
Essentially-
get to do the little boxes where it's like, you know, how it is in tabletop RPG books where it gives like little examples in game.
I see this as like you're building the frames. You're not painting the house. You're just putting up the frames.
Well, I'm putting up the walls, just not painting them yet.
I was thinking of like assembling the skeleton, but there's no meat on it yet.
You know, that's
But
fair.
that's a bit more necromancery than you know, the building a house analogy.
Yes, Wostein. Yeah. But I think those are enough notes for all of that. Let's see. What do we want to go over next?
Character creation and XP costs, those are playtest here.
Yeah, those are something we'll play test with.
Like, you know, on paper, looks good. Gonna need a playtest.
Mm-hmm. Rygon, how you doing?
Doing all right. Just I don't know. I feel like doing
And
something
how
else
about
now.
you, RZ?
Me just playing Pokemon Scarlet off stream because I want to play this game more and not just be restricted to streaming.
Yeah, that's fair.
What do you want to do then, Rygon?
I don't know. What do you have in mind? I figured you'd want to continue working on this for a while.
Well, I wasn't necessarily meaning something we do together exactly, because I have no ideas on that. I was more just, you know, making conversation a bit.
Oh, I'm not sure. I want to do more stuff for our campaign bit, but I'm not sure where to go with that for the moment. Like, I need to probably make a couple of NPCs, stuff like that. But that's all stuff that I could just do, you know, solo. That's not necessarily a group thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's still
I mean,
something
this entire
you can...
time while we've been working on this, I've been making a map.
I mean, and as far
That's
as
what I
that
am.
goes, it doesn't mean you can't hang out with us while you are also doing, you know, your stuff.
Yeah.
Also, empathic and empathetic are the same word. It's just
Yep.
empathic is the older version, and it kind of feels like it fits to me for a fairy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
otherwise,
it's even-
they mean the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just archaic versus more modern.
Yeah, if you want to go truly archaic, Eldritch Touch. Eldritch Touch, rather.
Eldritch definitely does not feel like we are talking
No.
healing.
It does not. It basically means of the fairies.
All right, we don't go for Eldritch Touch. That's fair enough. How about Cthulhu Slap?
Oh my
Cthulhu
god.
slap.
Well, hello there to you as well, Brian the Wolf. What we could do is start coming up with the pure bonuses for the types.
Like if they're bug and only bug?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're monotype.
Because there are,
That's
you
the
know,
bonus you get for being mono.
there are some that are only one type, and it would be really shitty for them to have no bonus, because, you know, if you're a bug dark type, you get both the climb and stick to surfaces as well as dark vision, as well as the intimidation and stealth. Whereas
why not just have players choose one or the other?
I mean, we could,
do...
but it also, I mean, we could. I thought about that, but it's also like, it's kind of cool to do it if you have the mono.
Yeah. To have a pure trait.
Yeah. The lazy way to do it would just to have mono be a type in and of itself, but
no.
Yeah, not as satisfying.
Well, if we were to do something like that, I can imagine like the phrase purity would enter into the conversation. Like a pure form or something like that. And with that, if you are a monotype, then you get like a huge bonus to, I don't know, like a skill or something.
I picture it being more you're flexible and you get to like add a +1 to.
That's normal type.
Yeah, normals get that.
Oh, okay.
Which I almost feel like that should be the pure normal.
Normal types don't get enough as it is.
I was thinking normal types for their pure form would have +1 attribute of choice.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that would work.
But just giving them another +1 to something, that really doesn't feel very good.
I mean, but like the only other thing you could really do for normal types, because like the whole thing about normal types is that they're very adaptable.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm meaning like for all of the types, if they are pure one type, then they only get a +1 to something instead of the additional effect.
How about they get that +1 to attribute and they can change it with every long rest?
That could be interesting.
Neat. That'd be neat. It would also give them something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if they just specialize their character and they literally never change it, they still have the option of using it to shore up a different ability. Plus, that means, like, you know, when you're going all in on trying to raise up your main stat, like, once you get it up, like, to the max, you can then transfer it over and, like, help bump up your next secondary stat.
Yeah. Or if you're in a more casual setting, you could just like, we're about to go into a theater performance, +1 to perform or something like that. Oh, we're about to have a murder mystery, +1 to perception, and so on and so forth.
What I'm actually thinking about is maybe for dual types, for the bonus to an ability, they only get one or the other. So like, say we've got a ground ice type. Ground gets +1 perception, ice gets +1 perform. They would have to choose they either get perception or perform. And then we can also do a +1 to something for a monotype. So we can do like ice types might get an additional +1 to say etiquette. So they get +1 perform and +1 etiquette in addition to their immunity to environmental cold damage / effects. Whereas for the ground ice, they would get the tremor sense and the immunity to cold but they would only get +1 perception or +1 perform.
I mean, that kind of works.
I am hesitant on the +1 perception, just because perception is literally the roll. The perception, you roll that more than anything else in almost every tabletop game.
Should be increased if it's a perceptive Pokemon.
I kind of want to change the +1 perception to something else and not give a trait of. And I don't want to really. I really don't want to give anyone +1 perception.
I mean, that's okay. We just have to look at what else is available and find something that fits.
Yeah. We already give somebody athletics.
Yeah. I think you might be asking for kind of a hard pick here, because I think our last one was either perception, athletics, which was taken, and then like
athletics
I don't
is
know,
not
the two
taken.
weapon bits. Then let's toss it on ground.
Oh yeah, we can toss it on there. I thought maybe it was something we were talking about and then changed it. Maybe we gave something athletics temporarily.
Maybe we did.
Because we probably ended up changing it, considering how often we change stuff on that.
Probably.
I'm debating whether or not to spend $70 for all these assets.
What
assets? I know what you're looking at.
You know, yeah, you know.
Draft assets. I know what he's looking at. I know exactly the one I thought about it too.
The everything pack. It's like, there's so many good things here.
I mean, seasonal trees. I mean, you're already getting me with that alone.
I know. It's like, there's so much good stuff. The thing that's kind of attracting me right now, though, are their city assets. Because the players are in a big city and I can't find any elsewhere.
But I'm just talking about, like, literally just, like, the seasonal assets alone is, like, such a sell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also feeling the distinct lack of any sort of lanterns.
I hear that. What's up?
I'm not going to, I don't want to say more because it is supposed to be a surprise. However, I will say you'll have the money for it soon.
Okay, I guess I won't worry about it? Question mark?
That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
You're going to win the lottery, Rygon.
Oh, shit. Speaking of which, which state won the that billion blah blah blah?
No clue.
I have no clue.
I'm curious enough because I bet it's Washington, because it's always Washington. This is just me being curious. Go ahead and continue your conversation.
I mean, like, our conversation ended off with us giving it to Ground. It's a Ground. That was the end of the conversation. Then we started talking about the map thing.
Mm-hmm. It was one in Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Yeah.
You don't hear too much about that state often.
Well, you do during election times.
Yeah, you do during election times. Elsewise, they're only known for like Hallmark, like fall videos.
I mean, not as much as you hear about my state in election time.
Florida?
No, Ohio.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I live in two states where it does not matter. We already know where things are gonna end up, so I'm just like, I still do my civil service and I do my little plink in the bucket, but I know it's just a plink in the bucket.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a poll worker. That shit is like horrendous.
Oh, I don't envy anybody who's a poll worker at all. That shit is no.
Dude, you can't even imagine, like, not only are you working like literally like an 18 to 20 hour day, you're doing it on like 4 hours of sleep because of how long you're setting up before.
Mm-hmm. I can believe it. And not to mention,
and then there's also the
stuff recently.
And then there's all the restrictions for when you're doing it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Like nowadays, I'm sure it's an even tougher job because like now you got everything in the kitchen sink being thrown at you in terms of like poll watchers, people who may be trying to, I don't know, intimidate, and then you've also got
I mean,
who
the
don't
worst part
know
is,
how to work the system, stuff like that.
the thing is, you're not allowed to have like people that are coming to vote aren't allowed to have like actual candidate names on their clothing
Mm-hmm.
and other stuff like that. So imagine having to argue with these super opinionated people on both sides that they can't wear that sweatshirt in here because it has a candidate's name on it, or hey, you have to take off that hat. Hey, you can't have that sticker.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to argue with them, and then like they'll start yelling about like, you know, free speech and all that. And yes, true, but look up the rules. You're literally not allowed to have that because of the canvasser rules, and you're acting as the canvasser.
Mm-hmm.
Annoyance.
Here's an interesting question for all of you. If you were to win the lottery, and let's say you actually win a decent amount, not like just $100 or whatever, would you actually reveal your identity? Yes or no?
No.
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 That just makes me a target.
Okay. I was just kind of wondering because I actually have come across individuals before who have said yes. Rare as that is.
Yeah. Though I think I would get outed because I would like give certain people like money and then they would tell other people.
Well, at that point, I think you kind of have to like work it through a system. Like, God, what was it? You're supposed to put your money in like some sort of a company or trust.
You put
That's
it into a trust.
Yeah, you put it into a trust, and then it can't just simply be taken, like withdrawn for every little thing. And I think that helps to prevent a lot of that kind of stuff. For me personally, I know that what I would probably do is just put a lot of it into like diversified investments and then just simply live off the interest.
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's literally what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because what am I going to do with like
diversified? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what am I going to do with like $2 billion? I might as well put that stuff into investment, right?
I could.
I might as well just put in diversified assets, live off the interest, and whatever is left over, I can put into various charities, museums, supporting communities, stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess I would have to make the donations anonymous.
I just do it in my trust's name.
Rygon Inc.
Hey,
Right.
I'm just saying. There's this one guy that works really hard on Twitch, raw_Zim. Just saying, he's got a donation button. You could use that, and just saying.
Well, if I ever won the lottery though, and I did that, I'd be completely taking the spotlight for Toshime and Jaffer, and I can't do that.
That's true.
Except
Listen,
they
if
can't
even
help
I
as
tried to
much
sing-
anymore. Toshime's hours got cut at work, and Jaffer's got the baby.
Abby.
Okay, so then what I'm hearing here is I support them so they can support you. Got it.
I mean, knowing both of them, that's probably what they will do.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah.
Literally, my income last month was less than half what it's been the rest of the year, and it's hurting.
Even with a new tiered system?
That we just started the last couple of weeks. I'm talking about October.
Oh, gotcha.
I was about to say, I don't think it hasn't been a calendar month since that happened, so you can't count the revenue yet.
Gotcha. Well, here's hoping that helps to bump you up at least a little bit. I know it's not going to be enough to replace, but it's still something.
I know the ads have definitely been a huge help. Still not enough to replace, but it has definitely been a help.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Zim, how rude of you for outing yourself or like promoting yourself for donation such. I wasn't gonna deal with that though, but if you put it like that, screw. Turn.
Yeah,
Free.
I know for me, I definitely would
if
support
I lose
those
my
personally.
place, if I lose my place, I don't have anywhere else. My grandma is already struggling, and my mom definitely won't let me back because, well, my stepdad kicked me out at 15. He's not going to let me to move back in there. And I've got no other family that I could call on.
So when I win the lottery, then I hire an assassin. Got it.
Yes, please put
Hires
me out of
an
my
assassin.
misery.
No, Zim. But no, I know for a fact, like I would support those close to me. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah.
Like if you got $2 billion, obviously I'm not going to go buy anybody a yacht or like, stuff that they don't need. But your basic day-to-day, why not? Like, what else are you going to do with that money?
I myself, it's kind of my biggest goal when I do get big as a streamer. Because I know a lot of content creators out there like, I'm buying this big McMansion thing. And me, it's like, I'm probably going to buy a plot of land, build or buy some existing land. But I mean, all land's existing, but like existing developed land.
Buy some fantasy land.
But either way, my idea is building a community of like, not really apartments, but probably duplexes. And then having those to help out friends that need it and such. Because while moving is not necessarily appealing, that, having that stability of a roof over your house or over your head can definitely be very helpful.
I was about to say, I sure hope my house has a roof. It'd be really awkward otherwise.
But that's basically my idea. It's just a community thing that is designed for to let friends move in and have their own space instead of a shared house or shared mansion or whatever.
Castle, let's go.
I am so boring that if I did get a ton of money, the place I would live is just where I am right now.
Yeah, I would live at my own house.
I would use the money to help support my family and, get a better house, personally.
Yeah.
And just use the rest of the money to help support and put stuff in income.
I don't have a house currently, so I would definitely want my own house. But not necessarily. I mean, even in this apartment, or before I had this apartment, I was living in a 3-story condo with another roommate, and I literally only used 1 floor of it, and even then, barely even part of that.
Yeah, I mean, like, what is anyone going to do with like a McMansion? Like, that's so much space.
You just have to bring friends too. Use what you have to do. The mansion is just no, too much.
Yeah,
I will admit though, there is at least one area that I would love to build on any house, and that is like a theater area.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to be fair, a theater area would be balling in any structure ever.
Oh, exactly. I'm not the kind of person who goes and just like spends money for the sake of spending money, but like a theater area, like hell yeah. I don't need a big truck. I don't need a fancy pool. Theater area.
There are 2 things that would be extremely balling, and one is wasteful and one is not. The one that's not wasteful would be a theater area because you can actually use that as like entertainment. The only other thing, and this is like if I like got money out the fucking wazoo and I could literally shoot it off wherever, I would get a bowling alley, like a 1-lane bowling alley installed. It would be.
But he always wants a
complete-
bowling alley, though.
I fucking love bowling. I cannot explain my love of bowling. When I was little, the
Oh.
sport that I would watch would be bowling. I love bowling.
You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough.
And I won't say I
By the
haven't.
way, Zim, guess what?
Yes. What?
Not gonna work. Come
Yeah,
on.
you have to guess.
Here, I have to. I'm nudging it. You have it.
What am I guessing?
No, here, give me it. Give me a sec. Why? I did something and it just didn't work. Why have you forsaken me so? Why have you done? Why have you forsaken me? Why have you forsaken me?
I have no idea what I'm guessing, but okay.
No, something was supposed to happen and it just didn't.
Oh,
Do I need to fix something?
No.
Clips of my channel.
Alright, so monotypes get the mono bonus listed below.
And when you get two pure types, then you get a mono el mono bonus.
You pure types?
Just a bad joke.
Okay. Okay, it's a bad joke that I don't understand. Got it.
To be fair, it's a joke Pokemon would tell. or shall we forget Dun Sparse?
Alright, so another ability bonus for bug types. Go. Honestly,
Hello, Commander. In response to
Why
your
did it
request,
take so long?
We have sent backup. Good luck,
I
Commander.
clicked that minutes
We
ago.
are forever in your debt.
I got something for you. 15 minutes later.
Why? I clicked that minutes ago.
Thank you for the
This
gift
didn't
sub,
work.
though.
I just thought it didn't work.
Okay.
Honestly, Syria, though, if I did go with the community idea, we would probably have like a quote-unquote clubhouse, which would have a tabletop gaming room as well as a theater. Because, you know, it's me. We definitely have to have a tabletop gaming room.
Oh, hell yeah. That'd be a part of the theater.
Yeah,
I
that'd be-
agree.
It'd be part and parcel.
I would love to have one of those like tables where you could just put a big old screen on it. I'd never use it, but I'd love it.
It would be nice to look at. It'd be,
Yeah.
it'd be nice
Suggestion.
and decorative.
We need some space for VR. We need big spaces for VRs. Even if it's just in rooms, we need big spaces.
Yes. And a little corner with bean bags for when you get exhausted and you need to collapse somewhere.
Oh yes, bean bags would be nice, or just some nice chair.
I will say that, yeah, a nice open space, but it would be right next to my computer. Like, basically, my computer room, my streaming room would be pretty sizable, so I could use VR in there. And I'd also definitely, as part of all this, would definitely get a really nice computer. A pair of them.
Oh, there you go.
A pair of them, yes.
Personally, I wouldn't actually have my computer in the same space as a big VR space because echo.
Well,
Yeah, you would have to buy
but
sound stuff.
that's just mostly as an individual who works like with sound and voices a little bit. Like,
I mean,
having a much more cloistered space works better for me than a big open one.
in that regard, the room would have soundproofing. Like, if I get my say on building a room for my streaming, it would have soundproofing on the walls.
Yeah, but then if you get hurt in VR and you're right there on the floor, like, nobody's going to be able to hear you.
You'd have no
I
mouth,
get to
yet you must
die.
scream.
Hey guys,
I'm
Sim hasn't
failing
made
to
any
see how that's a
sound.
bad thing.
Guys, Sim hasn't made any sound. And he has a soundproof room. Okay, I'm just gonna walk in. You might find something really weird. Yeah, Zim's on the floor in pain.
No, he's just playing VR. He's just like writhing to some new Dance Dance game, I'm sure.
By the way, Zim, if you are putting together a new computer at some point and you want me to help, just go ahead and ask. I know way too much about that. Yeah.
Well, I will probably ask for help. The main thing is just affording it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just throwing out the offer since it's, a topic that was already brought up.
All right, let's focus. I've got about
Yeah.
half an hour left.
Yeah, let's go ahead and focus, because as much as it's nice to spend imaginary money, we probably should actually do something productive.
Spending
Yeah.
imaginary.
All right. So bugs, they can crawl underground. They can climb up the walls. They can make webs. They have acids and poisons on their mandibles.
There's actually something that I'm thinking of, and that is eldritch thinking. And I'm actually taking a page from like D&D Pathfinder where you get those outsiders, right? And their thinking is so alien that others have a hard time understanding them. Maybe bug types could be the same way for this universe, where pure bug types are just like their thinking is so alien that other species have a hard time working with that. So they'd be like harder for psychic types to listen to. They're harder to predict in combat, stuff like that.
And bugs are super effective against psychic type anyways.
Yeah,
So-
they're already there.
We are going to give, so we are going to go through every type and give them an additional ability if they are monotype.
I thought that's what we were doing.
Yeah, I thought that was doing.
I
thought
was
that's what we were
thinking
gonna
another
do.
+1 to something else, but I mean, I guess we
Well,
could do.
I mean, if we want to.
Why not?
It's just
We could always just take it out.
my only concern there is coming up with something for each, because there were several types where we were like, empathic touch, dark vision.
I'm sure we can come up with something.
All right. Well, then let's start
To be
with
fair,
bug.
I am dreading thinking about fairy type again, but I'm sure we can do it.
All right. Well, we can start with bug then.
All right.
I do like the idea behind that eldritch thinking, especially considering bug is super effective against both psychic and dark.
Okay.
How about inbuilt shed skin, where at the end of combat they can like shed off status effects?
Isn't that already an ability though?
It is. Are they going to keep their abilities in this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then never mind.
People would be.
Yeah,
People are up in arms over us. They're up in arms over us not having a special stat. You think they won't be up in arms if we take away Pokemon abilities?
How about bugs having like an incredible carrying capacity?
We already
do
gave a carrying
have-
capacity bonus to someone, though.
Oh,
I mean, that doesn't mean we can't give it to bugs as well.
Yeah, I mean, we can't double dip. It's just something to keep in mind.
I don't know. I feel like that's just not special enough though.
all right. They can eat a lot of food and then they don't have to eat any more of it. Sorry. Just thinking of things bugs have done. They could have not suffer penalties from being attacked from behind because they have like 360 vision.
But not all bug types do.
Not all bug types. Well, yeah, and that's
And either way,
compoundized.
there's also the fact that we're not going to have penalties for being attacked from behind.
Yeah.
Darn, I went to my rogue build.
You already destroyed the rogues.
I don't know. I do like the idea for the Eldritch thinking. Literally, the only other thing I can think of at the moment is like insect swarm. Like just summon a pocket of insects once a day sort of thing.
What if you get an extra dice if you attack an enemy that an ally is also attacked?
Oh, call that like a colony or working
Like
together or
swarm
something like that?
tactics.
Yeah, swarm
Tactics.
tactics. There you go.
Swarm tactics. I like that. And Sirio, the reason we're coming up with this stuff for monotypes is to make it balanced. Again, this system is not going to be perfect. But
The reason
if
we're doing
basically if
No,
we
you
are
don't have
giving a if we are giving something like if you're a bug dark type, right now you would get to be able to climb and stick to surfaces, and you would also get dark vision for 60 feet. So, and yet if you're just a bug type, you only get the climb and stick to surfaces. Yeah, we're never going to get this to be perfect. If you have a suggestion, do not say, I don't like that idea. Instead, I want you to say, how about we do this instead? I'm going to put a hard stop on the I don't like that.
If you say you don't like something, that needs to be a preface to what you would do to change it. Because if it's a preface, that's fine. But if all you say is, hey, I don't like this, that doesn't tell us anything. Okay, well, real quick, my headset is dying, so that way I can keep talking, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in and swap mics. So I will
Okay.
sound different in a second.
I like the swarm tactics.
And yeah, the alien mind is cool, and I agree with Rygon, it's cool, but I don't think there's a mechanic for trying to guess what the player is thinking.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be like the player is thinking. It could be like legitimately, I don't know, like if a player is about to take a hit, or if a pure bug type is about to take a hit, you roll a 1d6. If it's a 1, then the attack misses. So, we can attach a mechanic to it if need be.
Yeah.
Then give me a solution, Sirio.
Alright, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have swapped mics.
Should I just stop doing this altogether, Sirio? Because that seems to be the only solution here, because I can't think of anything else. I could scrap this whole
already
thing.
an optional. This is already an optional thing we got going here. Like, it literally says tentative on it because it's like being developed, and it's an optional rule. I mean, we like the idea, like, I think pretty much everyone here likes the idea that different types should have different abilities and bonuses and all that.
Yeah.
Because it makes them more unique and it gives them something, like, special about them. But it's also, like, it's never going to be perfect. We're just trying our best here.
Yeah,
You guys
also
took a small break. If you guys are getting heated over this.
Nah.
No, it's just a recurring theme that like, you know, people are like, hey, I just don't like this, and then, you know, that's it.
Fix, please.
I don't know. I don't like that statement. But in all seriousness, though, I was joking. In all
he was doing a
serious
lark.
note, I do like that monos get something, just simply because, as stated before, otherwise they're kind of falling behind. The only other solution I could think of is an either or. So, like, if you get a bug dark type, you either get the bug or you get the dark. You don't get both.
Yeah. I mean, I also accept that, and that's if we don't want to, you know, if we can't really think of anything else. Like, we can't think of something good for every single one. We may just have to do that.
Yeah. But I say we give it the good old college try. Worst comes to worst, we just don't use it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we got swarm tactics.
Well, the reason why dual types can't have them is because they already have another effect that they're getting.
They're getting this is like, yes, people can absolutely argue that until they're blue in the face. But the fact is, this is being done for balancing. Because it is imbalanced for, you know, two abilities to be given to somebody just because they pick a Pokemon that has two types. Alright, so, Dark type.
There is something I would like to see for dark types, which is to like lean into their dirty fighter aspect.
Yeah, I was thinking of like, what if they get like a cheap shot mechanic if they're mono?
Elaborate on what it would do.
So for something like it being like a cheap shot, something where it'd be like the sort of thing that rogues get, where like if they attack an enemy that hasn't acted yet in combat, or like, you know, if they attack from stealth, or if they can describe it as like something tricky that they're doing, they could get a bonus to it. Like, it literally just popped in my head, so I'm still trying to mull it over and like actually flesh it out. But like,
I like the
getting something
idea.
where it's a cheap shot like mechanic thematically.
I like the idea. I just feel it wouldn't be as consistent as that bonus die on accuracy we just put up there.
That's what I'm also thinking, but that's also why I mentioned that like I'm still mulling it over, because it's like half formed.
Yeah, maybe it's something where we can have it in. We just simply allow it to have more of an impact than the bonus die on accuracy. So like, if you manage to do this and you get that trick shot in, you get like an extra die on damage. Like, it's just a straight flat die damage.
What if they get a bonus to damage when attacking an enemy with a status effect? Or negative status effect?
I
feel like that might be a bit too powerful.
Yeah, because now you're kind of given a bonus. I mean, it's neat. It really is neat. But it's also like, what if you, like, let's say, you know, you're fighting a fighting type. Like, you're having a battle with a fighting type, and your friend over there, or you yourself, because you're a dark type, so you would get, like, prankster pretty commonly. What if you, like, will-o-wisp a fighting type, and now their attack is cut in half, they're burned, and now you deal more damage to them?
Well, they were already pretty messed over after Will-O-Wisp.
I mean, yes, but it's like, it
It's
feels
insult
like
to
if you,
injury.
no, it's just more. It feels like more of a win harder.
That's true, though we aren't talking about duels exactly. We are talking about multiple Pokemon.
Yeah, you know what? True. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do it where they get a bonus die on accuracy if they are affected by a status effect.
Yeah, and like I think that should also include stuff like charmed, confused, that sort of stuff.
Well, yeah, I consider those status effects.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'd-
yeah.
I'd
But I'm
be
just
game
saying
for that.
they don't show up as like they don't have like little tag on it where like it shows up next to their name in Pokemon. So that's why I'm just because you can be confused and paralyzed, and you can't have more than one status.
We'll clarify later, because I very much consider confusion and such to be a status effect.
Yeah,
Alright.
Serio, I also understand what you're putting there. We could also just put in a rule that you have to choose like either or of each of the, types that you're taking on. But then also, that sort of brings in like even more min-max potential, where now you're scouring trying to find like the two things that would like complement your build the most, that also has good typings, and it sort of opens up like an area for like extreme minge, and we're trying to avoid extreme minge.
Like, the first abilities on most of these is generally pretty small. It's mostly related to movement or vision. Like, the most extreme one would be Dragon with their fight or flee.
Dragon and Ghost.
Yeah, Dragon and Ghost. But that Ghost isn't that useful in combat, but I'm meaning, like, most of them have to do with movement.
It's not useful in combat if you're not being, tricky with it.
Fair. Either way, if we allow dual types to pick one of or the other, then you get a bug dark type, and now they get a bonus die on accuracy if an enemy is attacked, and if an ally attacked that enemy. Plus, you also get one for if they're suffering a status effect. And
Pokemon
sure, they lose
have
their dark vision and the ability to climb and stick to surfaces, but those
now you're really
those are
effective in combat
weak.
all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Don't
Anyways.
Pokemon have a base type there are that, and the secondary is just, an add-on that just complements what kind of Pokemon they are?
I would say yes, but they've also, between like different Pokemon games, just sometimes sort of swap them on Pokemon. So that's why they're called dual types instead of like them having like a primary and a secondary type.
Yeah, I have one for Dragon.
What's the one for Dragon?
I call it Dragon Anger because Dragon Rage is already a move. And it is whenever they use the 2 exhaustion points to recover, instead of having no penalties, they get a +1 bonus.
What?
A +1 bonus to what?
To their next roll?
To their next roll.
Oh, okay. I could dig that.
Yeah. Dragon's Fury.
Or Draconic Fury, whatever you want to...
Yeah, Draconic Fury.
Draconic Fury. Dragons are meant to be these scary, powerful types. Screw you, fairy types.
He says on his way to charge an enemy while jingling furiously.
It's my war cry, okay?
I'm coming to get you.
That's not scary at all. How about this?
Are you a
Lets out an extremely... No, he's a Jango.
Oh. Good. Now I can still like you as a person.
What?
No, it's a bad joke. Clef keys just give me a lot of trouble in Pokemon, and I
traumatized one of my friends because I used a Clef key to beat his over-leveled team.
Okay, for Draconic Fury, how about instead, because that is something that could be very limited, We could do it. You get +1 accuracy if you take damage or get attacked by, or targeted by. We'll use that.
Yeah, if you're targeted by an enemy, you get +1 accuracy against it.
Yeah.
The next
That
round.
way it's more
Your
useful than
next round.
just than something that you will literally run out of uses of.
And that way it bread and butters with your other bonus.
Yeah.
You
I
force
feel
them
like
to
we're
target
just.
you.
I feel like we're just making everything +1 accuracy.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing we've sort of settled on for this.
Yeah,
Getting
kind
+1
of.
accuracy is
I'm
pretty
seeing
good.
that.
I mean, +1 accuracy is really good. The more moves you hit, the more damage you do, the more effective you are. And if we lock all of the +1 to accuracy stuff behind it being monotype, then you can't dual type to get pluses to accuracy.
I will say it'll make combat a little interesting, but I also feel like combat, at least for certain types, are going to be flowing a lot of the same way. Oh, you came across this bug hill. Oh, guess what? You could probably expect what the fight's going to look like.
I mean, yeah, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
That is fair.
Yeah, giving players some idea of what's going to happen can help.
All right, electric.
Besides, just because you you tell them that they're gonna go fight like a group of bug types doesn't mean you can't have a Volcarona come crashing in on the fight, and all of a sudden it's like you have to beat this one specific Pokemon.
Electric, static charge. Bonus die on accuracy if you move at least 20 feet towards your target.
On that one, do we have any disengagement rules? Like if you disengage from an enemy, they get a free attack against you?
I plan to basically copy D&D for that.
Okay, that might be something to consider then, because electric might be at a bit of a disadvantage.
What if in addition to that, I know this is technically like a 40k term, but what about like fallback and charge rules? Because that's a term in 40k where you're able to fall back in your movement phase, so that way you're disengaged. That means that then you can fire in your fire phase, in your shooting phase, and then you can charge them again. Like as an example, so that way if they're in melee, they can disengage, so that way they can get their movement, and then run back in to re-engage.
I mean, they get their 5 feet bonus movement. We could just have it to where that one does not apply for
he said
disengagement
20
or engagement.
feet towards the target.
Mm-hmm.
That means
we could make it 15.
Okay. Because I'm about to say, if you 5 feet, then you can't make it so that way they get the full range.
That way they can back away and then charge in again.
Yeah.
Which, in turn, unless they have some way to avoid the attack of opportunity, they get that +1 bonus on accuracy, but is it really worth stepping away to and risking an attack of opportunity? Alright, Furry.
+1 to accuracy if they healed that round. Like if healing was exchanged between them, either to themselves or to others.
But we're kind of doing the whole accuracy thing.
I like.
Yeah, that's what he's suggesting is accuracy.
How about +1 on accuracy if they attacked an ally?
Oh, kind of a defense. Yeah,
hey, my friend's in danger. I'm gonna help them.
Yeah, I like that.
Fairies are all about making your allies special.
Fairies are all about equivalent exchange.
Which, let me tell you what, it makes for some interesting thoughts when trying to come up with a bad guy fairy. Has anyone ever?
Not really, because you could just make it so that way, they're in opposition to the party because they want to better the lives for the people under their control and their friends and all that, and the party happens to be in the way. That could work pretty well.
Well, I mean,
all right.
I'm talking about literally mustache twirling kind of levels of bad guy here.
Cartoon evil.
Yeah. Like, it takes some creative thought to come up with a fairy that meets those kind of criteria.
I believe Empty Dimp, or whatever it's called, from Sword and Shield, is a fairy poison type?
Very dark.
Very dark. So there are fairies that are evil.
Yeah, that
But-
they evolve into Grimmsnarl.
But regardless of that, like, these aren't necessarily... These are decent things.
Also, that's so typist of you, Zim. Dark types are automatically evil. What the heck?
Yeah, I
translates to evil
agree.
type, but
They're
they
not
are the best
evil.
type.
They're brutal in their ways.
I take fairy
Okay,
types
shut
as
up,
more...
puppy type.
Yeah, I take fairy types as more whimsy than necessarily good or evil.
Rude.
Yeah,
And
they
dark
really
types-
are more whimsy.
Yeah, and dark types as more underhanded than evil.
I'd say more focused, but yeah.
It depends on the fairy. Like, there are a lot of fairy types that are very much about friends, about healing. You got Chansey, you got Clefairy, Sylveon. Most of them do have something to do with friendship or with general things like that. So it is fitting for fairy type. Yeah, there are exceptions. But at the same
but you'll find
time,
that everywhere.
you know, if you're having cartoon villain, if you're having a Chansey as a cartoon villain, you're going to be stretching it regardless.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually like 2 or 3 I've already come up with. Like, for example, perhaps you get a, I don't know, a Chansey or something that is very much the mama kind of Pokemon, and she takes care of her henchmen. But at the same time, she's like that tough individual. Just like, okay, I
The
took
mama
care of you
bear.
guys. Now go,
Big
yeah,
mama.
now go beat up and mug that guy.
Oh god.
Just a
She's
big
like-
mom character.
Yeah, she's like the mother of an entire mafioso family, except they're Pokemon.
Exactly. So there are like whimsical villain sort of ideas here. It just takes a bit more creativity.
But that's different than, you know, like, because like with what I suggest, that's different than being like mustache twirling evil.
Yay, I got a Fetchroar!
Hey!
Nice.
My life is complete. I can die now.
Well, no, you can't. You're not allowed.
Oh.
All right, guess I'll be looking for a new player then.
Oh crap, okay, now I gotta live.
Yeah, if you're dead, you can't play in Raygon's game anymore.
Okay, that's a reason to live. Even if I am dead in Rygon's game already.
Oh. Rude. Now we're bringing Seda into this? Okay.
So what do we want to call the fairy one?
I love physics.
Shared pain.
But we're doing accuracy.
Empathic touch.
Empathic touch again. Empathic touch 2 electric boogaloo.
I mean, even if we are doing the accuracy thing, that doesn't mean that we have to stick to that.
Yeah,
like,
no,
we
I'm just
could actually have a shared pain thing where perhaps the fairy takes some of the damage from an ally.
Yeah, the
could do
50%,
that.
like, the 50% split unmitigatable, like,
Yeah.
you don't get your soak. You
Yeah,
take post-soak
exactly.
damage from your target, you take half of that, and you don't apply soak.
I like that.
That way you don't get to apply soak twice to an attack,
Yeah.
and you don't suddenly, like, you know, you can't use your soak.
I tell you all that I burned my lasagna today.
No, but that
No.
is absolutely a tragedy. I'm sorry for your loss.
It is. I came home from work, I popped the lasagna in, and then I've been so tired because I've been working late the past few days, I ended up falling asleep.
Let me see how much I care. Did that lasagna have cottage cheese in it?
Cottage
It did,
cheese is
but it had
fantastic.
4 meats. It had 4 meats.
Oh god,
that is a
4
tragedy.
meats. No.
Mm-hmm.
I am sorry for
Guys,
your loss. That is
focus!
So
We have
We're
only a
on
little bit of
fighting now?
time left to get this done before I need to end, so let's get this done.
All right, so we're on fighting.
Well, Fairy,
I
you
feel
take
like-
half the damage of an attack targeting...
Of an attack targeting an ally within 5 feet or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make sure to mention that this is post-soak mitigation, and you do not apply your own soak to this.
Yeah, soak does not mitigate. All right.
Soak does not mitigate. Post-soak mitigation for the original target, and you don't apply your own soak.
Fighting. Hard hitting, +1 accuracy of attacking the same target consecutively.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the name could use some more, like maybe like follow-up or something, but you know.
Yeah,
I like follow-up.
Or duel. Or haymaker.
No, because a haymaker, first of all, you're fighting wrong if you're using haymakers. Second of all,
I could always borrow a page from Team Fortress 2 and just go, I'm going to headbutt you.
yeah, true. Because the headbutt's a move, so.
All right, fire type.
I feel like out of everybody, they should at least get a damage bonus of some
Yeah,
sort.
they should be damage. I was about to say, like.
Overburn?
How about a +1 damage die if attacking a target for the first time?
Like that. Or a undamaged target.
That would punish your team for doing any sort of plink damage, though.
Yeah.
Hailstorm would be your nemesis.
Or sandstorm.
Maybe,
I was thinking about like having like a cauterized effect where like opponents can't heal if they're hit by a fire, but then again, that's, you know.
A bit powerful.
Yeah.
Well, that and there's already a move that kinda does that.
Oh no, there is a cauterized move, but I mean,
maybe
that sort of thing.
bonus die to damage if surrounded by 3 or more enemies.
How about +1
Define-
damage?
You'd have to define surrounded.
Yeah, how about +1 damage die if an enemy has healed since the last turn?
That's
Healing is
too
kind of
specific.
Yeah.
That's more for PCs, huh?
Yeah, well, it's more for PCs or for like, you know, hey, you have to fight this other group of trained Pokemon, like, you know, Pokemon adventurers.
Could give them like
we could do
inbuilt...
splash damage.
That actually would work. Like, you know, if using a fire move, like, you know, deal 1 splash damage to all targets within 5 feet of the original target.
Okay, and we don't even have to make it a fire move. It could just be a special move.
Yeah, but then what about stuff like Fire Fang?
Well, that's a physical move.
I would say 1 damage to 1 additional target.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
I could go with that.
And
Yeah.
not limiting it to fire type moves.
Yeah, if it's not limited, then and having it spread to 1. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and we didn't even limit it to those type of moves with any of the other ones.
I mean, to remember, like this is on pure fire type, so not all fire types are going to get access. to this.
Rank up. Hold the line.
Oh, crap.
Fall.
Shrieking Ecodenica raided my stream with 35 viewers.
Guess you have to stay up for another hour.
I was going to end soon. Danica, thank you so much. Normally I'd go later. It's just tonight I was invited to a thing after soon Either way, thank you so much
Welcome,
for
everyone.
sharing your community with me. I really appreciate it. Welcome on in, everyone. Hey there, Night Sky Gem. Would you like a regular shout out, or would you like a random clip from your channel brought up? And how was your stream? And for those joining me from Danica, I am Raw Zim. We do variety gaming here. Right now I'm lazy tonight and just using a Discord reactive icon for the time being of one of my tabletop characters.
Food and water rations.
from
I'll take your
Let's see
golden
this.
cock. It's mine now.
Oh, okay. That was not something I was expecting to hear tonight.
I didn't hear it all. I'll be honest, I had the stream muted.
Community Day, very nice. Well, welcome on in, everybody. I am Rozim. We do variety gaming here, and I am gesturing with my hands like my hand tracking is going. But then again, I did this before my hand tracker. Anyways, Night Sky Gem, thank you very much for that follow. We do all sorts of things. Right now, we are working on a Pokemon tabletop system, like D&D, that we are designing with, like, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon in mind. We also have a lot of tabletop games. Tonight we did Exalted and World of Darkness. Other games that we have is like our Pokemon Mystery Dungeon tabletop campaign, run by Rygon here on voice with me. You can see him right there.
No.
Zool is also a player when he is not Zool. He is Azareth in that game, but you know.
I have I'm sorry, Nevis here is very excitable. Apparently he speaks in all caps. You know, just big words, big boldy words. I don't understand.
But if you like tabletop, definitely make sure you hit that follow button. We've got a lot of games throughout the week. But yeah, welcome on in.
I highly recommend you all also check out the VODs from these games. If you want to have yourself like a couple hours of entertainment, there you go. Specifically the Starlight Expeditions one. But yes, no favorites.
No favorites.
No favorites. There are 2 channels that do them, but no favorites.
No favorites.
Isn't my channel's obviously better than yours? Obviously, totally, 100%.
By the way, so remember how I mentioned before that you had something from my favorite game and I was going to absolutely like fawn over that? Do you think it's time for me to absolutely fawn over it, because I'm not going to do this often? Okay, hold on. First of all, I just have to like do the command so that way I can make sure it works.
I don't know what.
That one should be set up.
Joke.
Why is it not working?
I don't know. Anyways, oh my god, I fucking love Age of Empires 2 so goddamn much. It is my literal favorite game of all time. I can't believe, though, that you chose Start the Game Already over the Herblaf when the Herblaf is better in every single way. 11 is the best taunt, followed by 25 Dad Gum. And after that, it is obviously Start the Game Already.
I also have Monk.
Monk! I need a monk! That's what, like 27?
I have no idea the numbers.
Yeah, whatever.
Monk! I need a monk!
Okay, that one's working. I'll have to investigate Start the Game.
Maybe it's Start the Game Already. Maybe you did the whole thing.
I'm confused.
Wait, where did you find these? Where did you find these sound effects?
I looked in your commands, You know how I like to read the various things that you have around?
Down in the description of the channel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Those
on
are
my bed right now, so I
outdated.
couldn't bring it up. Oh, okay.
That was one of the sounds that I keep forgetting to finish adding back.
Okay, well, but oh my god, I fucking love Age of Empires 2 so much, you literally don't even understand.
Can we focus? Because
I'm sorry, I just need to mention that I have, like, literally tens of thousands of hours in that game, and I fucking love it so much. You're not going to hear me gush about literally anything else on the level of this. This is your one time of hearing me literally just gush.
Okay. But can
yes,
we focus?
We can focus. We can focus.
Flying!
Yeah,
Flying.
We could do flyby. I feel
Flyby
it might
sounds
be a
Flyby.
bit... I feel like it could be a bit broken.
Unusable.
A bit
It's only
unusable.
broken against physical characters.
They could get a bonus to damage or accuracy if they're at a higher elevation than
I was
the
about
opponent.
to say, like, they could get +1 to accuracy if attacking from a higher elevation.
Technically better vision. Because eagle sights or something like that.
I mean, that could work, but then that would be going into giving it plus perception, and we didn't want to give anything plus perception.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah, and giving it like accuracy at long range would also
back to
mess
Age of Empires.
over the pecking birds.
But yeah, also it would bring up like an important part in fighting in the air, which is like being higher up, because if you're higher up, you have an advantage.
Wait a minute, we barely... Guess what Pokemon this would apply to?
What?
Only one legendary.
What?
You know, that's a good point. There are no mono flying types.
There was exactly one.
Oh yeah, true.
Who is this one?
And it's a legendary, and I think... Oh wait, but we might have Son make a...
I'm about to say, but we could have people custom make us mono flying types.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We're throwing it in there anyways. Let's go.
I
mean, think about like, do you really want to leave the gap when we
hold
have
on.
the idea for it anyway?
Danica, thank you so much for sleeping. Can you tell I'm tired and brain's a little frizzled? I've been working on this for many, many hours over the last 2 days. A little brain fried. Thank you so much for sharing your community with me. I appreciate it so much. Sleep well.
Yeah, as for the only Pokemon who's just flying, it's Tornadus.
True. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Zim, on like the hours poured into this.
Yeah. So we've got 2 suggestions. Bonus accuracy if attacking from a higher elevation, or flyby where, just like D&D, you can fly by them, get an attack, and not suffer the attack of opportunity.
What if they get another plus evasion to against attacks of opportunity?
That's sort of just like stacking
Nah.
on itself.
Yeah, okay then. Never mind.
I mean, again, like, this is also mostly going to be used for custom solo flying types, because I doubt there are really going to be, like, any DMs out there, or at least many going, yeah, let's have them play Tornadus.
Yeah, the only thing I would even think about is just it can stay in the air and doesn't fall. But that's
called flying.
Yeah.
That's called flying.
Yeah.
I'm liking the idea of the flyby more.
Alright.
I mean, yeah, if it's rare and you have to like custom make it, yeah, I'm fine with it having flyby. If you really want to balance it, you could give it -1 accuracy. But I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do that.
That way it also kind of like really hurts if you try and game it at the low levels with a flying type. Because, you know, when you're taking a die off at like the really early levels, you're dropping like a third of your dice.
Alright, so we got that. What do we want to do for Ghost?
Ghost,
dreams? No. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, they're all about the curses.
I was about to say, what if they get +1 accuracy to status moves or something? I don't know.
Ooh.
That's a bit too broad. That's a bit too
Yeah, and not all ghost Pokemon are good with status moves.
That's true. But
Um,
we are encouraging them to build Soul, which does involve status moves, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, one, and this is too powerful, of course, is when they use their exhaustion to heal, it also damages a single opponent equal to the amount they've healed.
No.
Yeah.
We could do it where they inflict -1 accuracy on hit
Yeah, that'd
to
work.
their target.
Yeah, that'd work. I'm fine with that. If they're like able to harry enemies, yeah, that's fine.
Cursed attack. Inflicts -1 accuracy to the target's next attack on hit. Grass.
Grass.
I've had 2 ideas for them, and you're not going to like either of them, but here it goes. One is that they get to share their rest with allies, like a 1d4 to healing for them if they're nearby, or they get to re-roll their rest and use the higher growl.
I was also just thinking about doing something really uninspired and going they get +1 accuracy and intense sunlight.
I actually don't mind the healing idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty decent.
Only problem is that they,
That also encourages spam resting in order to heal, though.
Yeah, but you can't afford to spam rest in this.
Well, we could do it like the Bard's Song of Rest, where if you spend hit dice, you get an additional 1d6 or whatever it is.
Yeah, that'd work. That works.
What should we call it?
Fruition.
I don't like that name.
Okay.
Pleasant Grove?
Can't use... Maybe, I don't know, like, Deep Roots? I don't know.
I suggested Pleasant Grove.
Pleasant Grove.
Green Thumb.
Any ideas, Rygon? I guess not. Okay. We'll just not include a name for now.
Yeah, no name. I was thinking about including something with spring, because that's when, like, you know...
Ooh, Springtime.
No, that's not good as, like, an ability name. Maybe if we take, like, Pleasant, so it's like... No, because then that implies water if it's Pleasant Spring just by itself.
Yeah, and it can't be, like, Resplendence.
No.
Grants an additional 1d10 healing during a short rest to allies if they use Vigor to heal.
Oh, it does that. It could just be fruits. Fruits and berries.
I don't like that, though.
No.
You don't... Oh, alright.
Could call it
To
soft
admit,
grass.
To admit, looking at the mono grass types, you wouldn't want to eat their fruits.
Most of
All
them
right.
now. Hold on.
Oh, what
We'll
about
move on to
herbal
ground.
Okay. I thought of
What is it?
herbal remedy.
That implies processed, but that's better than everything else we've came up with.
Yeah.
Because, like, the only other thing I can think of is stuff like... stuff where it's, like,
Well,
technically...
moving
like, correct
on
names, but it's also
to
just
keep
bad.
this going.
Yes,
Ground.
yes.
I would like to get through these before we end, and we still got quite a bit left.
Oh, yeah, you know what, that is true. Yeah.
I think for ground, maybe they don't suffer penalties for not being able to see their opponent.
Oh, that's kind of the partial what we get for tremor sense.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so.
So for ground, I am thinking we could go back to the bonus accuracy idea.
Yeah.
Or actually, well, I don't like the idea of copying it from Ghost, but pocket sand.
Pocket sand.
Pocket sand. Yeah.
Just like Ghost, where it inflicts -1 accuracy to the target's next attack on hit.
Could make it so that way it's like unstable footing, where it makes it so that way they have less movement speed the next turn.
I mean, we could just change the ghost so it does damage and the ground does accuracy, and boom, they're completely different.
I do like whatever, like if we do something like that, I would like it named something like unstable footing or something.
No, I don't want to go with the unstable footing thing.
No? Okay.
But there's also nothing saying we can't, copy another ability, especially when we're doing most of these having to do with accuracy.
Yeah.
So, obviously, if we're inflicting an accuracy penalty to somebody, there's only multiple types can have that.
Yeah.
And I like the pocket sand.
Yeah, pocket sand's a funny name.
Say anything?
Yeah, I did talk to you, but it's alright.
Oh, okay. I just was utilizing the little boy's room.
Ice. Sleep well, Wostein, and John Starr, thank you very much for that follow.
One thing I thought of is accuracy on any surface that is an unusual surface.
That's too vague.
Yeah. I mean, like electric terrain and grass terrain.
Alright, we don't have anything right now, so let's go and come. We'll go skip it and come back. Normal.
Normal. I mean, we could go with more adaptability things. We could go with just they get to choose a like a type on their moves, and they get plus accuracy to those.
I thought we went with a +1 attribute that they can change after a long rest.
Well, with everything
something like
else
that.
here, the attribute
Oh, yeah.
thing would be that would
Well, that's
feel a
+1
bit broken.
accuracy and damage.
Yeah.
But then, like, you know, they also aren't getting a skill bonus.
What do you mean a skill?
Well, because, like, you know, we're giving others, like, plus athletics, plus perform.
Well, no, they're getting
don't-
+1 ability of choice.
Yes, but I'm just saying, it's like... Oh, wait, hold on. +1 ability of choice.
That is
Oh,
really
okay,
good.
Sorry, I misunderstood. I misunderstood.
All right. Well, here's.
I misunderstood because it said ability, so I thought they're able to like choose like a Pokemon's ability.
Oh no, I'm talking
Yeah,
about
okay.
these skills.
Okay, okay. Because I was like, ooh. I mean, I was about to say, because if it was that's plenty.
Moving on.
Here's a possible one. What if they get bonus accuracy to super effective attacks?
Do they have any?
Well,
we're not
I
saying
mean,
stab. We're saying super effective.
Oh, I know. Do they have any?
Yeah, they have.
Most of them can learn other types. Yeah.
Yeah.
Normal types have
that.
extremely good move coverage, and we made it cheaper for them to pick up coverage moves.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
It would require a bit more build-up than others, but even so.
I mean, eventually, normal types are always going to be like the jack of all trades character when it comes to coverage.
What should we call
because
it, though?
Well, jack of all trades.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
+1 accuracy if attacking with a super effective move. Alright, poison.
God, poison is such a rough type for coming up with things.
How about something where they can reduce like the defense of an opponent if they hit them just once?
Remove a soak. Could also make it so that way they get accuracy attacking opponents that are like below half health.
Yeah, or accuracy with moves that have secondary effects.
Do any poison types get the sheer power?
I kind of like the suggestion of attacks with secondary effects.
Yeah, but that's why I'm trying to consider, like, I'm trying to think. Does anything with poison type get stuff like sheer power where moves deal more damage if they have additional effects as well?
I think there are.
Yeah,
Let me
because
check.
we might be setting up a sheer power
Nido
monster
Queen
here.
can learn
Yeah.
sheer force as their
Oh yeah, sure, of course.
and only Nido King and Nido Queen, and yeah. But
Either way, we can put it in for now and adjust it later.
Yeah, you know what? Put it
Yeah.
in for now. I just wanted to it's just something I immediately thought of.
yeah, and they're not mono poisons anyway.
I mean, yeah, that is true. That is true. But I'm just like bringing it up.
+1 accuracy if attacking with a move that has a secondary effect.
Alright.
Psychic.
I know telekinesis is already a thing, but I always view psychic types being lift things up with objects, but that's not combat based.
How about +1 accuracy if they move or attack after their opponent?
Interesting. That complements slower psychic types.
That complements Trick Room, which is a psychic type thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't complement Alakazam.
No, but you know what? I mean, it's
But
never gonna
Alakazam
complement
could
everything.
Alakazam could still just like hold his move or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, nothing says you have to act immediately.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to ask if they had held actions.
Okay, so calculated attack +1 accuracy. What?
If attacking after an opponent has already attacked.
If attacking after an opponent's turn.
Okay, do we mean opponents or do we mean target?
After a target's, yeah.
Target, yeah.
Because otherwise it'd be like, I am going second. Guess what? I get more accuracy.
Alright, Brock.
Plus one to throwing rocks. Sorry,
I like for rock, they get an extra soak against non-effective attacks.
You mean non-super effective?
Isn't there like not
against
effective?
Resisted?
Oh, not against resisted
resisted.
attacks.
So that would just be normal attacks and
flying.
We could do -1 accuracy. -1 accuracy for attacks that are
not super effective.
That are resisted.
I kind of like that because Rock Thing is supposed to be defense.
It's supposed to be.
So I actually kind of like that idea that they have a resistance against everything, but it's not just straight up you don't deal damage.
Yeah, it's just harder to affect them with it.
Exactly.
But it was like, yeah, if your attack had hit cleanly, it would have still dealt the damage, but like, you know, you slightly angled your you slightly angled your wing attack off, and now it like glanced.
Yeah. Now we have to remember, this is just for pure types, the monos, so it's not going to apply to all of them.
Like, there's really not that many mono rock.
Yeah.
Most of them are like ground rock.
Alright. 2 more plus ice. Steel.
Honestly, I feel like just +1 accuracy if they get hit, if a target hits them or something like that. +1 accuracy against a target that hits them. Oh, we already did? For which one?
Dragons.
Damn, that's right.
I mean, steel types are supposed to be at least partially stubborn.
Originally, we were going to do soak with them. Another point of soak.
What if we made it so they're not affected by difficult terrain? I mean, it's kind of lackluster, but like maybe something to do with it.
Their other one is also kind of lackluster, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me see. Aglon and Clink and
Clink.
They kind of have almost a mechanical thing to them, so
When we said mechanical, I thought spare parts, but we kind of already did like a healing ability.
How about this? How about if an opponent hits them, they can make a roll to deal damage back. Yeah, like sharp edges, or maybe like vibrational impact. So if they get hit, they can roll a die to deal like 1 damage back to the enemy.
And like, is this anytime they get attacked, or just once a turn?
Anytime they get attacked.
All right. This would have to hit though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to hit.
And I would probably say a physical move.
Yeah.
Because if they're getting shot, it wouldn't make sense that it's like, okay, you hit me with an arrow, now you're suddenly taking a damage.
Yep.
Well, it's splinters. Splinters, they just go really far back.
Iron shavings. You know, it's just gonna make them sneeze a little bit too hard from it, like getting up.
How about this? How about any attack that is made within 5 or 10 feet?
I was thinking just do physical attack, because that should be all melee.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there is stuff that's ranged and physical, but like, you know.
We'll just go with physical.
Let's just go. Yeah, let's just go with physical.
Can roll accuracy to deal 1 damage. Water. And we also still need something for ice.
Honestly, I'm kind of thinking for water, go with the flow, can disengage from opponents without a attack of opportunity.
Now, this is just anywhere, right? And not just in water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be anywhere.
Isn't that just flyby?
No.
Flyby allows them to move in, attack with -1 accuracy, and then fly away. Go with the flow. I would say they could disengage. They could disengage without provoking an attack of opportunity if they don't attack the one they're next to.
I would agree with that.
So if they want to change targets, then that's what it would be primarily for then.
I'm not exactly happy with it, but it's acceptable.
We can always change things up later as we come up with better ideas, but that's the only thing I
Yeah.
can think of.
That's why I called it acceptable. Now ice. What the hell are we gonna do for ice? We can make it so that way. I don't know. Enemies within a certain range of them have their movement speed reduced.
I would go with that. Just because they have that natural frozen aura around them.
Yep.
What was
I don't
it?
know if you want to do enemies within a certain range have their movement speed reduced.
I like that.
When I say a certain range, I'm thinking 10 feet, maybe 5 feet though, so that way whenever, like, you know, if you roll up to an ice type, you can't, like, and they, like, take a disengage action to get, like, as far away as possible, you can't, like, actually make it back to them because your movement speed is reduced. For most types, at least.
Alright, so for what? Icy Aura?
Icy Aura, Chilling Aura, whatever.
Reduces movement speed of enemies within 10 feet?
I was thinking 10 feet.
Yeah, let's do 10 feet.
Because 5 feet makes it, like, super niche.
Yeah.
Well, that and a lot of enemies, if they're at 5 feet, they're not going to disengage and just leave, usually.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how much do we want to reduce the movement speed by?
5 feet.
I was about to say just 5 feet. If you
Alright.
make it 10, then it starts becoming a problem.
Alright,
5
I
feet gives
think
it
we are
utility.
done for tonight.
Yep.
Right. Very nice.
Yay!
Everyone.
Thank you all
Thanks
again for your
dropping
help.
in.
No
I
problem.
gotta go. I'm more than a little late, but thank you
Yeah.
all so much for joining us tonight for our Streamworks, where we've been working on a Pokemon tabletop RPG system. Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Twitter, Patreon, and more. There on the website, as well as down in the description below through our link tree. Thank you to my patrons, donators, and subscribers. It is because of your support that I'm able to continue bringing these streams to you all. I seriously cannot do this without your guys' help and support, so thank you. Consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. It's one of the best ways to support the channel, though you can also do so by simply sharing the stream around. But for now, thank you all so much for joining, and I bid you the most fondest adieu.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.